Matchday live on Wolves TV. Listen for free online at wolves.co.uk or on the move anywhere in the world via the Wolves app.
Neves brings it down on the volley. Oh, you must be kidding me! Ruben Neves has just struck a sensational goal. Oh, it's heard in. It's the Anderlecht doctor who arrives. Oh, the brilliant Belgian in the right place at the right time. Calls it all. That's unbelievable. Jean Martinho has whipped it into the far top corner. Can you believe this?
A very good evening and welcome to the home of football. This is Molineux. This is Wolves TV Matchday Live Extra. I'm Mikey Burrows. Alongside me, as ever, for this one is the Hall of Famer Andy Thompson. Joining us from home, Carl Ikeme and Iwelumo. Plenty of other big guests to join us between now and kick-off as well. Wolverhampton Wanderers against Everton here this evening. Wolves getting 2021 off to a proper start this time on Friday night, beating Crystal Palace in the third round of the FA Cup, and of course setting up a tantalising revenge mission against Chorley that I'm sure Tomo will have more to say on a little bit later on. Back to Premier League though, and Everton being the visitors tonight, a team who've gone absolutely flying so far this season. So it will be a real test of Nuno's team, and there is some interesting team news to get to as well, because one of the big positives we were going to talk about from Friday night, Tomo, was Adama Traore getting back amongst the goals, but he is not involved tonight, and that kind of brings down really on the basis that he was so good in what he did on Friday.
Yeah, so he played really well, didn't he? So he was the threat. Got a stunning goal with it coming in from that right-hand side and scoring it with his left. But just towards the end, just before he went off, he was sitting down on the pitch. So there was definitely something that was going on, and there was something wrong with him. So I'm not surprised that he's not involved today, because if there are any problems because of the cold weather and all that, if it is something, a soft tissue injury, it's going to be a problem. So they're not going to give him any risk at all. So they've just pulled him out of the game. But hopefully he'll be back sooner rather than later. But yeah, that's what we've been waiting for from Traore. We've been waiting for him to come alive and to get that goal, and he definitely did that the other night.
It's sometimes the way though, isn't it, Iwelumo? We've waited so long for it, and then he adds to what is quite a lengthy injury list now. I think Looms is still muted. So let's go to Carl Ikeme on that basis, because I guess, Carl, I mean, you know Morgan very well, and he will be in a position now. Morgan Gibbs-White coming in to start. He got a little taster back in a Wolves shirt on Friday. It's his opportunity now.
Yeah, definitely. I think he'll be thinking it's his time now. He's been to Swansea and done well by all accounts. Got a run of consistent games, which he's not really had at Wolves. I know he's been in and out at times and maybe started one or two and then dropped to the bench, but he looks like he's had consistent 90 minutes. I know he did get injured towards the end of his Swansea stay, but he'll be buoyed. He'll be confident coming back as well, and he'll feel more like a man. You know, sometimes that's what the loan system's there for. It's not because that your parent club's not interested or they don't see a future. You just need to get experience, and I think Morgan could be a good example of how the loan system can work for Wolves and work for Morgan in coming back and showing us what he's learned while he's been away and how he's matured.
I was interested in your comments just there, because you obviously had to do it. And I know it's slightly different for a goalkeeper because there are fewer opportunities to get game time until you're kind of judged to be ready. But when you did go away, what was it like? Because I imagine as a youngster, you know, you're viewed differently in Wolves than he was probably viewed going into the Swansea dressing room.
Yeah, definitely. It's difficult sometimes going to a new change room because you're so used to being at Wolves, and he's been at Wolves for a long time as well. So you're in your comfort zone, and you're having to make new friends, figure a few people out, gain respect in the change room as well. So these are all elements that will add to his maturity, move into a new area, settling in a new area as well, and learning a new style of football. He's been so used to being under Nuno for so long, and how Nuno works. It's getting used to a new manager, a new coach, and a new way of playing, and that'll only improve him. It'll improve him on the pitch, and it'll improve his maturity off the pitch as well. And I think they both go hand in hand, which I learned, even though some of my loan spells weren't particularly enjoyable, in all honesty. I'm grateful for them when I look back in hindsight. They did me the world of good.
We're going to come back to some of the team news chat. Good team news chat, though. One of the best that we've had so far. All three of you, great contribution. We're going to get our first guest in on Matchday Live Extra tonight, though, and this one could be slightly awkward. Our friend, of course, at Boyle Sports, Leon Blanche, is joining us. Talk through one or two odds and sorts. Leon, good to see you as ever, my friend, though you know what I'm going to say. We're still not won since you've come on yet. We were 3-1 up at half time last time. How did you manage to jinx that?
Well, I wasn't on for that game, Mikey. I'm not going to take the blame for that one. How dare you even throw that my way? The last game I was on, mate, I was on for the Man United game, and I predicted a draw, and by God, they nearly got there. But I think tonight, looking at the Everton team sheet, no Richarlison, he's on the bench, yes, but no Calvert-Lewin. I mean, I'm struggling to see who's going to play up front for Everton. Wolves, on the other hand, I mean, I thought they totally dominated the game against Crystal Palace, and they had plenty of chances. I think Fabio Silva, he's been unlucky, but he's getting into the right positions to. I just have a feeling tonight could be his night to try and get his first Wolverhampton goal, and I think he deserves it. I think Neto set him up beautifully. I think it was in the first half, and he should have scored that header. He had a chance in the second half as well. So he's a young lad, and we all know with strikers, if they get that first goal, they might just be able to go on a bit of a run.
So I imagine in the market, clean sheets and low scoring is probably pretty popular.
Yeah, look, absolutely. I think with Everton, the first goal tonight is going to be vital. I think if Wolves get it, hopefully so. I think Wolves are going to be hard to beat. I mean, if Everton were to score first, you could see Ancelotti really trying to do an Italian job. And it'll be backs to the wall. It'll be hold on and try and keep Wolves out. But I fancy Wolves tonight. I know I've said it before, but I think Wolves tonight, this is a game that they've got to be looking at to try and get a home win. And I think they're quite capable of that. But as you said, punters aren't expecting a goal feast. It's going to be interesting to see, as I said, exactly how Everton line up. You've got Iwobi, you've got Sigurdsson, you've got Rodriguez. So it's going to be interesting to see who'll be the kind of main man up top. But I think Wolves will want to be looking at this and want to be getting all 3 points.
I want to get to our charity bets. Tomo has had the distinction and honour amongst the pundits. We'll come to his in a second because once again, he's put together a ridiculously long list.
It's not a long list, it's 4.
And the stuff on there that I don't really get and understand, Leon. So, I mean, I've kept it nice and simple for you. Wolves to win and Catrone to come off the bench and score.
Yeah, look, I mean, obviously, you're hoping for an anytime goal score there. Wolves are 7-5 just to win the match, but your Wolves to win and Catrone to score at any time is available at 3.5 to 1, which is 7-2.
And on Catrone, by the way, because, he's got a massive opportunity now, having come back from his loan and with Raul Jimenez still being out. And I know we were kind of looking towards you to say, what are the chances of him being the top goal scorer this season? Well,
look, I mean, they're going to have to find goals from somewhere. Obviously, Jimenez is a huge loss for any side. And Catrone, it is a big chance for him coming back on loan. Look, if it was still a stalemate when he comes off the bench, he's 11-2. He's 9-4 to score at any time. But I still feel, look, Adama got his first goal of the season, a cracker against Palace. He's on the bench. Neto has been chipping in. The likes of Dane Dunker, Podence. Players have just got to chip in. you'd be hoping that 3 or 4 or maybe 5 players could pick up 5 goals, and that'll help towards the overall tally. But a big chance for Catrone coming back to Wolves.
Right, so I've made Leon's job very easy tonight with
It's
a
easy
nice,
enough, what
simple
I've had.
prediction. And now we've got, I mean, we tried to rush through this because this could take a long while. So here comes Tomo with his ridiculous...
No, Leon knows. I've had both teams to score. I've had Neto to score any time. I've had 6+ corners in the match. So that's either side. And 30 points bookings from either side as well.
30 bookings? There's
30 points
on there.
No, he's
So
gone
10
for
points a
30
booking.
points in total. And look, how that's worked out, lads, is 10 for a yellow and it's 15 for a red card. And any player can only get a total of 25 points. So look, if there's 3 bookings in the game, and that's one part of Tomo's bet up, he's
Yeah,
still
there you
going to
go.
get 6 or more corners in the match. Neto to score at any time and both teams to score. It's a tricky prediction. It's 6-1. And if you want to go with Tomo without the bookings, it's available at 100-30. I'm just going to go here, I think, for Wolves just to win. I think 7-5 at home against a weakened Everton side. They've got to go for the victory here this evening.
I love the way that Leon is the most sensible out of all of us when we come to do these bets. We're not doing this right, are we?
Well, look, it's hard. I mean, it's hard. The more times you put in a different outcome, the more chances you have of one of them letting you down. I don't know if even both teams are going to score. I look at Everton, you know, they struggled past Rotherham, 2-1 in extra time. Calvert-Lewin's goals had dried up. He's obviously not playing. West Ham beat them 1-0 at home. They scraped past Sheffield United 1-0. So they haven't been scoring goals lately, and hopefully that continues tonight. I think if Wolves can keep a clean sheet and nick the odd goal, I don't see there being more than 2.5 goals in this game. I think it's going to be a low-scoring affair, but the most important thing is 3 points to Wolverhampton.
Catrone off the bench to get the winner, and then I'm finally getting some money from Leon and Boyle Sports. Thank you very much, my friend. Speak to you soon.
Cheers, lads. Best of luck
Take it easy,
tonight.
Leon.
Thank you, mate. Leon Blanche from Boyle Sports, our official betting partner. I'm tempted just to kind of keep ignoring Looms for as long as possible on here, but we kind of do need to talk about the striker element, Looms, and Patrick Catrone. You know, he looked great in that little run out on Friday. Nuno's gone with Fabio Silva again, though, from the start, and that must have been a really interesting decision between the two.
I think it's just fantastic man management. As a manager, you know, he's had Fabio Silva in. They've spent a lot of money on him. We've got to say that Fabio Silva's not had a nightmare. He's done okay. You know, his link-up play's been good. Yeah, he's in the right positions to get the opportunities. So I think, again, Nuno knows the qualities that Fabio Silva has. He's had that chat and says, look, Catrone's back. I'm sticking with you. And it's now time for Fabio Silva to repay that trust that the manager has in him. And I think he will. I agree with Leon there. You know, I think Everton tonight, I see both teams scoring, but I think Wolves will go with the win tonight. But again, I just think Fabio Silva with the right service, he's got to hit the back of the net, because some of the opportunities, his movement is outstanding. Without the ball is outstanding. So he just has to
about him in a second, Looms, because we've got a couple of guests that specifically I want to talk to all of you about that element of a striker. But Carl Ikeme, we're just talking about the loan system and a player going out on loan. Obviously, Patrick Catrone, a different situation to Morgan Gibbs-White, but yet that element of being able to come back and have something to prove might be beneficial to him.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, like you said, different situation, totally different country as well. And maybe a different feeling. He wasn't at Wolves for long, was he? So maybe you're right. I think he's going to come back thinking that he's going to be playing ahead of Fabio Silva. He's a bit more mature than Fabio. Whether he will or not, we'll find out. But in his mind, he's definitely thinking he's got an opportunity to play the rest of the season here and show what he can do for Wolves and show what he can do in England as well. I'm sure that's a big piece that's on his mind as well, to prove everyone what he can do in the biggest league in the world as well. So there's plenty of carrots dangling for Cutrone coming back to Wolves, and it was one that I didn't really think of, in all honesty, but it's one that makes sense as well. And I did like him when he did come in. The only problem is Raul is our top man, and he was never going to play as much, but I was impressed with him, and I was a bit surprised when he did go. But obviously he just wants to play as well, so he's hungry, and I think that's what we need. We need obviously Fabio Silva's hungry, but he's learning as well. But Cutrone is hungry, and he's got that bit of fire about him as well. And I'm not looking at him to come and score 10 goals for the end of the season. I'm not sure if he will. I hope he does. We'd all hope he does. But I'm hoping just to be more of a presence up there and to nip him with a few goals, but also to help the likes of Neto, Podence and Traore bring everyone else into the game. Sorry.
As I say, we will talk more about the strikers in just a moment, but we have a big name guest waiting to join us on Matchday Live Extra here from Wolves TV. A big welcome to the former Everton, Manchester City and also Aston Villa and West Brom, but we probably won't mention that too much. Gareth Barry, welcome to Wolves TV, Gareth.
How you doing, guys? You all right? Nice to see you all.
Hi, Gareth.
You're right.
First of all, let's talk a little bit about Everton, because they had an incredible start to the season, Gareth, under Carlo Ancelotti. How different do you think they are from the Everton team that you played in that tried to push towards challenging the top teams?
Yeah, I don't think they're too far away, especially the best season I had there under Roberto Martinez, where we were pushing for Champions League places. Ancelotti's sort of had 1 year to look at what's needed. He's brought in players that he's strengthened the midfield with Alan Doucouré. They're definitely stronger in there this season. They're not too far away, but it's one of them seasons where it's been pretty strange for a lot of teams. They've been on those great runs, like you said. They've won 4 or 5 in a row, then they've gone 4 without winning a game and picking up a point. So it's inconsistency, but it's the sort of season that a lot of teams are having. So you can't just throw that directly at Everton.
Because they're one of those clubs, aren't they, whereby they were always seen as one of the traditional big teams, and maybe not so much through the 90s stuff. But I wonder, having played there, what it's like with the expectancy levels around the place.
Yeah, it's a really tough place to play, really, and probably as a young player to learn your trade. They're real demanding fans at Everton. Obviously the success across Stanley Park at Liverpool puts added pressure on the players, but it's one when I went there, I used to my advantage, if you like, because once you understand what the fans want, and they expect week in, week out, giving 100%, playing the Everton way, then you can raise your game. So yes, it's a great club, but you are right, they're just waiting to make that next step. But as so many clubs have seen over the past 20 odd years in the Premier League, it's so hard to break in.
Just to add to that, Gareth, do you think that there being no fans at Everton's helping them or a hindrance at the minute then?
I think it's not helping them. As a opposing player, when I've gone to Goodison Park, I always found it one of the toughest places to go. That the fans are right on top of you. I feel they're one of them, similar to Anfield, where they really do affect the referee. So yeah, I think the Goodison fans not being there is not helping them this season.
Go on, Looms. I presume you were waiting to dive in there.
Ancelotti's come out and he says that there's definitely 4 teams better than Everton in the Premier League, and it's just I think the recruitment, like you said, has been excellent, but the quality of depth is definitely going to get questioned, because if Calvert-Lewin is injured as he is, then there's no like for like replacement that can do what he does, is there? That's going to be an issue. Yeah,
and you look at the team tonight, that's going to be a main concern. There's no out and out striker really. Certainly in the starting 11, you got Thompson on the bench that Ancelotti clearly doesn't favour too much. He's hardly used him. So you are right that the top teams will always gradually get to the top when it comes to the end of the season, because of their strength in depth. And if I was Ancelotti in January, I'd certainly be looking for someone to go and challenge Calvert-Lewin, if you like. He's done fantastic. It's going to be tough for him to keep that going throughout the whole season. He's still young, so maybe a crafty little buy in January will help Everton finish the season strongly.
On the back of that, Gareth, would you say that Ancelotti and Everton are ahead of where they thought they would be at this present time?
I think they're on a par, if you like. I always put Everton just outside that top four. You're right. Ancelotti is right. He's taking pressure off his team by saying that there are 4 teams better. There's possibly 1 or 2 more, but yeah, I'd say he's on a par. But there's still a couple of players I feel they do need. And when you mention strength in depth, that's going to be key. So whether they've got money, it's a difficult time, isn't it? Managers have spoke with the situation out in the world. Spending money is not going to be easy. So maybe a clever loan or something like that could help them.
Do you think the pressure might be on a little bit with? I know it's in the future, but the new ground, that they need to be successful, that they need to be pushing for that top places.
I think financially it probably will do, yeah. But I think it can only help. I think a brand new ground like that, and if they can fill the stadium, it's only going to help them financially. So yeah, I don't think that's going to be a major problem for the club. It's going to be a positive. It's going to be one to attract players. It's going to be great for the fans. So no, I can only see a positive from moving to the new stadium.
Gareth, one of the other reasons we wanted to get you on was to pick your brains about the longevity, really, of playing in that central midfield position, because you played hundreds and hundreds of games consistently year after year. We've got João Moutinho, who I think has gone past 700 career club games, let alone the 100-odd internationals that he's played as well. How do you do that, first and foremost? Because midfield is such a hard position to play.
Yeah, I think it's probably the position that if you are going to clock up a lot of games, it's the position probably to play. You're not one of those players at electric pace, so you're going to pick up injuries. But it's about learning the game and understanding as you get older how you adapt your game. I'm sure Moutinho's pretty much done similar to me. I was a bit more energy in my younger days, but as you get older, as you work under different managers, you learn to adapt. And he's certainly got the skill set to do everything. Really, he can affect the game defensively and certainly going forward. So yeah, he's been a fantastic player, and I'm sure he's still got a couple of years left in him too.
Is that something that you do yourself, or is it managers tell you to adapt? Do you know in your own body, or does someone tap you on the shoulder and go, don't go running up and down the pitch anymore, just stay in the middle?
I think they probably understand where you are in your career. But no, it's certainly you've got to take it from yourself, really. And that's not just on the football pitch. That's learning how to look after your body, if you like. When you have a career over 20 years, the game changes so much. You have options to go with the. It's easy to say no. I'm going to keep doing what I've always done, but the game's changed. You had to adapt. You had to go with the new technology, do the yoga, do stuff like that, eat properly, and if you didn't, you get left behind. So it was certainly one of my keys to success to try everything, see if it suits your body, and go with it.
Just one final one. Obviously, there's a big game coming up at the weekend. Wolves against Albion. Wolves are going to win this, right? But it's good for it's good for me. It's good for the area, because I know you've lived here an awful long time. With Villa being back and doing well this season, it's good for the Midlands, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's been a long time since they've had the Premier League, the derby between the two. So it's one I'm sure the fans are gutted they can't be at. But it's obviously going to be a bigger game for West Brom at the moment. Really, really struggling to hit it off with Sam Allardyce. But yeah, I think it'll be a leveler, really. Any derby is. So it's probably a game that West Brom want more than Wolves possibly.
I don't know. There's a lot.
Well, you're seeing it as an easy 3 points.
Gareth, brilliant to have you with us here on Matchday Live Extra. Thank you so much for your time.
No problem, boys. Great to see you.
Take it easy, Gareth, mate.
Thank you, Gareth. Good to have you with us here on Wolves TV. Interesting about João Moutinho, boys, because Gareth talks about having to adapt his game, and we've seen from Moutinho maybe a little bit, Carl Ikeme, of kind of still working on that maybe, and at times it's evident at times it's still a work in progress.
Yeah, I think I must admit the first half against Brighton, he was everywhere. He was running, trying to break the box and everything. So when you was posing the question, I was thinking, has his game changed that much? I was thinking, well, he still seems to be running a hell of a lot. But I think it's I think maybe that's come this season with more responsibility. Obviously, we've had quite a few injuries as well, and maybe he's felt that I might need to run that extra yard and trying to do it for the team. I think his game probably has adjusted from his 20s as all of us did as we got towards our 30s as well. And as you said, he's played that many games. He's got a wealth of experience. But I think this season, I think maybe he's had to fill a different role with Dundonker being out as well, and they're probably having to ask of different demands from Martino than maybe he would like as well. So I'm sure he'd like to be sitting in and around the middle of the park and dictating play, but he's having to do more of the legwork, which a Dundonker or a Neves might do.
Well, Carl's spot on there, isn't it? It's Martino, he's taking responsibility. Brighton game, he's all over the place, but Dundonker's out. So he reads the game so well, but he can't do that for a probably 70-minute, 90-minute period. But he's clever enough that when there's opportunity to get forward, he will get forward. Look, we all know what a fantastic player he was. I think we done one of the first games that he got brought in, and I questioned it straight away, didn't I? Says, mobility is going to be a question because the Premier League is so fast. But like you say, he's learned very quickly, and he's got that speed of thought that he's there anyway. He doesn't have to be 100 miles an hour, But again, fantastic player. And I just feel that, I guess, when Dundonker's back, we'll see him and Neves. But I think Neves has not really allowed Moutinho to flourish in that deeper role because Neves has been spot on. He's been outstanding the last couple of games.
Well, this is the interesting scenario, and I guess the range that Wolves have, because Moutinho is the experience, but we know there is plenty of youth in around it, especially in the forward areas. Let's talk to a man who came through the youth system here at Wolves and kind of got thrown in, and a lot expected of him at a very young age. We can welcome to Matchday Live Extra, a big welcome to Wolves TV, to the former Wolves striker, Adam Proudlock. Adam, great to have you with us on the programme. We're just talking about experience and youth. You were very young when you got your opportunity at Wolves. What was it like breaking through and the expectation that was on you?
It was unbelievable, really. The first time when I was 13, and obviously being a local lad, going through the schoolboy stage, and then a bit different now to academy, but you whatever YTS back in the day. I'm sure the boys will remember. And it was to break through at 19. It's just the dream come true, really.
Adam, wouldn't you say that the whole YTS system, though, it prepared you, I'd say, a little bit better for first team football, wasn't it? Because it's yeah. You
had your 2-year YTS. You had to clean the stadiums, clean toilets, clean players' boots.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit different now.
All the good jobs.
All the good jobs, yeah. Getting strung out in the middle of the stadium by the first teamers on the middle of a bench, left there in your pants. Standing on the first team table, getting bananas and apples thrown at you to get your Christmas bonus.
Yeah.
But it's all changed now, isn't it?
It has, so.
This is unbelievable from Tomo. I mean, we'll hopefully get some more of this if we ever get round to getting you on a podcast. But I mean, as a young striker, like Fabio Silva right now, for instance, he wouldn't have been expecting to get the game time that he's suddenly getting. You were in a position where suddenly people are looking towards you, and you got given the number 9 shirt at one point. How do you deal with that?
The first season I went on, the best thing I ever did, I played pre-season game against Aston Villa, did really well, and I thought I got a chance here. And then Colin Lee called me in the next day and said, I want you to go out on loan to Clyde in Scotland, Division 1, for 3 months. At 19, I think, go and live out in Scotland by yourself and, try and manage it, budget. And I just thought, what, let's go and do it. And it was the best thing I ever did because I was playing reserve team football with players that wanted to be in the first team, weren't that bothered about reserve football. Players are coming back from injury. So to get first team football with an atmosphere and a crowd there, and unfortunately I did really well. I scored hat-trick on my debut, and I only lasted a month there, and Colin Lee brought me back and put me straight into the first team. So the first season was amazing. But the pressure you're on about is the number 9. That's the most pressure I put on myself. The second season, Dave Jones called me in and said, I'm going to give you the number 9 shirt. And obviously growing up through the youth team, watching Bully and know what hero and a legend he is, I thought, here we go. But I think I put more pressure on myself wearing that number 9 shirt than actually playing the game.
Yeah. Adam, hold on there 1 minute, because we got another guest to bring in and carry on this discussion about what it's like being a youngster, being kind of thrown into the team and playing in amongst a lot of youngsters as well. Also joining us on Matchday Live Extra is the former Wolves midfielder, now living out in Canada. Rowan Ricketts is about to join in the discussion. As he does, Carl Ikeme, kind of your thoughts on this element, because there was a stat that kind of came out the other day that Wolves have got more under 21s starting games this season. I think double than anybody else in the Premier League. They are such a young group, and they are all having to learn on the job.
Yeah, and it's showed in inconsistency at times, inconsistency of being able to pick a team, and the inconsistency that some of the young players bring. We've got new players come into the squad anyway, and then they're new young players, and I'm sure they would have liked to be nourished with the more experienced players next to them, but they've not had that opportunity. We've looked at the likes of Hoover coming in, Nori, Fabio, Fatina just come back, Kilman. There's a lot of young players. Gibbs White coming back in today, where we're looking at, well, he's got experience at Swansea, but he's still a young boy. How old is he? 19 possibly? 20. Like they're still young boys trying to learn their trade, and I think it's difficult to expect everything of them, and especially when there's so many of them starting each game. I'm sure Nuno would have liked to phase some of them in from time to time and grow them in that way, but they've just been kind of chucked in the deep end and been demanded of them. But it will help. It will work out in the long run. It's just for now we're going to see some inconsistencies in their performance, because that's just life of being a young player, unfortunately.
Experience, isn't it?
Yeah.
Gaining that experience.
See, let's bring in our other guests. What a lineup this is. Andy Thompson, Carl Ikeme, Chris Iwelumo, Adam Proudlock, and all the way from Canada, Rowan Ricketts. How are you, my friend? Mate, great to see you. We're just talking about kind of so many young players being in amongst the group. You know all about this, especially having come through at Spurs as well, and then being a youngster kind of getting thrown into it at Wolves. Is there ever such a thing as having too many young players in a team?
I don't believe so. First of all, good evening to everybody. Good evening, Carl Ikeme. Nice to see you, bro.
Yeah, and you, man.
Lovely to see you. It's been years, my brother.
A long time.
Cool. No, I personally don't think there is. It all depends on the mentality of the players. If you've got the right players and the trust is there from the coach, I don't think it matters, because you could have an older team and people could complain, okay, this is too old. I think with young players, you have this kind of fearlessness, freshness. They're going there trying to prove themselves. So I think when you have young players in the team, it gives that bit more fresh impetus into the team. Why? What's your thoughts, Carl? Do you disagree?
No, I completely agree with you. But I do think the young boys have the trust of Nuno, but I just think the expectation of the club and the trust of the young players are in two different places. I think the expectations, well, maybe of the fans possibly, the expectations of the fans that we should be pushing the top four, but like we've overachieved, in my opinion, for the last 2 years. So I think to put that expectation on the young players, I think is not fair, and I don't think it's possible when I do think we've overachieved anyway. So I think that's the only issue really with the young players, is that not an issue with them actually playing or the trust. I think it's that they're expected to go out and beat Everton today. Is that? And obviously we're all confident we should be, and we've got enough in the team to do it. But we're expecting these young players to produce the same consistency as we've had in the past 2 years.
Yeah, I totally agree. And it's funny you say that, because the last time I don't remember what it was. I did a podcast the other day for Wolves, and we was talking about that. And I was saying that the club, a similar thing happened to Tottenham. Tottenham was, for me, a top 8 team. And all of a sudden, through Pochettino and stuff, they started doing really well. Then the pressure gets on, and all of a sudden, Pochettino's getting the sack when he finished, I think it was second or third. I'm like, what's going on? And the same thing's happening with Wolves, and they've got to be careful. They've got to enjoy the fact that they're in the Premier League, and I think they're an established top 10 team, and look at things like that. And anything that happens, there's a bonus. Because if not, they're going to be looking at the glass half empty instead of half full. You know what I mean?
It's that element, though, isn't it? Like, Adam, you know all about this, that, if these players now think there's some pressure and expectation, try being in the group that you were in, that is desperately trying to get into the Premier League after years and years of spending.
Yeah, I mean, we luckily we got promoted at the Millennium, and I know the playoffs ain't great for the losing side, but to go up through the playoffs, at the Millennium Stadium in front of 80,000, the feeling and the buzz you get, and we're lucky because we had a great youth team. We had Matty Murray, we had Keith Andrews, Joel Escott, Lee Naylor. The youth team that were coming through were unreal.
It's one of those situations, isn't it, though, where we will look at it and we will put pressure on them, Rowan. And I guess, do we have to have an element of patience, or are we right? Because Nuno's talked about saying, look, they're in there because we expect them to perform.
That's a good question. I believe that they, look, Wolves have done really well, and I think the players that are in the first team should go into the first team with a certain mentality, because it's a catch-22. Because, one second. If you see how we're doing this interview, you'd have a laugh. Look, here we go. Look, here we go. My boy's passing me my wallet. He's in the car. He's in the Uber. Take it easy. Take it easy, brother. We're just talking about that. Cool. So listen, I just came from playing some football with some pals. So as I was saying, it's a catch-22. Like Carl was saying, we don't want them to go into the team with too much pressure on their shoulders. But at the same time, you want them to go in there with an elite mentality. So that being said, anyone for me coming through the Wolves youth team now, they're going to be should have given the stamp of approval that you are Premier League standard. So when they're going into the game, they should be going in the game thinking, you know what, I'm going to go and turn up. I'm going to go and maybe get the 3 points. I'm going to be the difference maker. And I think that needs to be managed from inside. But at the same time, we still need to give the players confidence for them to believe that they can beat Everton.
Yeah, absolutely. By the way, Rowan Ricketts' episode of My Golden Game is available to listen now. Go and check it out because it's absolutely brilliant. And hopefully, Adam, I'm going to get you to do an episode pretty soon as well. Thank you both for joining us on Matchday Live Extra. We'll let Rowan get back to his car. Thank you very much, Rowan Ricketts and Adam Proudlock. Good to have you with us.
Cheers, guys.
Take it easy.
Cheers, mate. All the best.
Thank you, boys. Brilliant to get both of them on. Fascinating as well, listening, and Rowan getting something dropped off to his car as well mid-interview.
I think the police just went past as well. That's why he was just ducking his head like that. Is legend. I didn't expect anything different.
Honestly, that podcast is well worth the listen.
I can imagine.
Fascinating guy.
He's a fascinating guy.
Right, how are we feeling then? Very quickly, Chris Iwelumo, you can kick us off. This is going to be an interesting test. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I'm going for a Wolves win 2-1. I was thinking 2-0, but I think Everton will score, but I'm going to go 2-1. So Tomo, I'm just saying, just go 1-0, just kill Mikey, because that's what he wants. Just one of yous. Don't give him the satisfaction of going with that result again.
Yeah. Well, I think Tomo will probably want to hear what Carl Ikeme's got to say before he decides who's going to copy.
Yeah, do you know what? I'm gonna copy Looms. I agree with Looms on this one. I think it'll be a tight game, and I'm gonna agree 2-1 for Wolves.
Tomo?
So I agree with the boys, but I'm going to go 1-0.
Well then,
Mikey, the last time you went 2-0, it was 2-0, mate.
I shall go for Wolves 2, Everton 0. I have the faith this evening. Thank you, boys. Much more from Iwelumo and Carl Ikeme to come at half-time. More from Tomo in just a second. Everton are on their way out. Wolves will join them shortly. Don't go anywhere. The big game is coming next.
Matchday Live on Wolves TV. Listen for free online at wolves.co.uk or on the move anywhere in the world via the Wolves app.
The Old Goal Club has a new series, My Golden Game. Speaking to former and current players, coaches, managers and fans of the matches that meant the most to them.
It's a club who I have in my heart, and I always keep following it.
I'd been back to Molineux on a few occasions, and I never got a good reception, and that hurt me a little bit. Not that I thought I deserved better, but maybe because of those two games against West Brom, where I scored 4 goals in 2 appearances.
Check out the series so far, featuring the likes of Jodian Lescott, Kevin Doyle, Neil Emblem and Dennis Irwin.
I was absolutely delighted when they came in from League One, and even more so when, after having a tough first 4 or 5 months, that we were on a bit of a roll and ended up playing in this fantastic game.
Old Goal Club, My Golden Game, available now.
Matchday Live on Wolves TV. Listen for free online at wolves.co.uk or on the move anywhere in the world via the Wolves app.
The second of 3 important home games in a row, and after progressing to the 4th round of the FA Cup on Friday, Wolves meet an Everton side enjoying their best Premier League season for 16 years. Carlo Ancelotti's side have won 5 of their 8 away trips so far, as many away wins as they managed in the whole of the previous 2 seasons. Nuno's Wolves have won just once in the last 7 in the league, but beat the Toffees 3-0 in the last meeting back in July. 2 changes from the side that started against Palace on Friday. Rui Patricio returns in goal, whilst goalscorer Adama Traore is not included. Morgan Gibbs-White comes in for his first start since his return from loan at Swansea. It's Patricio in goal, then a back 4 of Nelson Semedo, Connor Cody, Romain Saiz and Ryan Ait-Nouri. A midfield 3 of Ruben Neves, Leander Dendoncker and João Moutinho, with Gibbs-White, Fabio Silva and Pedro Neto, the attacking 3. Everton have Jordan Pickford in goal. We expect a back 5 of Mason Holgate, Ben Godfrey, Michael Keane, Yerry Mina and Luca Dean. Abdoulaye Doucouré, Tom Davis, Gylfi Sigurdsson and James Rodriguez, all supporting Alex Iwobi, who may well be their lone man up top. On the respective benches tonight, Everton have Robin Olsen, Jonjo Kenny, Richarlison, St Tosin, Niels and Kunku, Bernard, Andre Gomez, Seamus Coleman and Anthony Gordon. Wolves with John Ruddy, Kiana Hoover, Vitinha, Patrick Cutrone, Lewis Richards, Max Kilman, Theo Corbeanu and 2 relatively new names in Meriton Shabani and Nigel Lundvik, who I will tell you more about as we get going here at Molineux with the countdown on the big screen. We are moments away and the players will take a knee as they continue to do so to send a important message. And we are ready to go with James Rodriguez stood over the ball, and Everton get us started here at Molineux tonight. Wolves playing from right to left as we look at it, defending the Sir Jack Hayward South Bank away to our right-hand side, attacking the Stancullis North Bank away to our left. Steve Ballstand on the far side, and as ever, we're at the front of the top tier of the Billy Wright. And immediately, Everton on the attack down their left-hand side, trying to get into the danger zone, and it's blocked off by Connor Cody on the edge of the 6-yard box, finding Semedo, who should be able to try and work the ball forward. So it's going to be intercepted by Lucas Dean. And he goes running down the left-hand side, but out of play for a Wolves throw.
Yeah, already you can see a positive start from Everton. Again, they've done well in the league so far, so they've been pushing towards the top. But again, so like a good defending there from Conor Cody, just stepping in and had the composure just to deal with the ball.
It's Semedo back by his own corner flag, winning another throw, but pushed right back. Looks like Gylfi Sigurdsson is going to play as the most advanced man for Everton, with James Rodriguez behind and Alex Iwobi on the right-hand side. In the meantime, it's Neves trying to switch the play to Aït-Nouri. It was a brilliant flick up and volley from Ruben Neves, who is already hopefully showing signs that he's finding the range that he had the other night.
Yeah,
his passing was exemplary on Friday.
Yeah, it was. But just to see that, then you could see his intention, just flicking the ball up so he could volley it out to the left back, Aït-Nouri. And say again, it's a good start from him with that.
There is Aït-Nouri playing it all the way back to Rui Patricio. For the time being, Everton have settled into a back four with Godfrey playing at left back and Luca Dean just in front of him, Iwobi on the right, Davis and Decore in the middle, with James Rodriguez and Sigurdsson as the most advanced two. So almost in theory, 4-4-2 really, or 4-4-1-1. It's a little bit different than many of us expected before the game. Interesting to see how things pan out as the game progresses. 2 minutes gone. Wolves in their gold shirts, black shorts and gold socks against Everton in their blue shirts, white shorts and white socks, with Decore in possession now, midway inside his own half.
Yeah, you can see the shape of Wolves with that flat back four. So Neves playing a little bit deeper in that midfield area. Coutinho and Dendoncker a little bit more advanced. And then Gibbs White pushing up as well to help Fabio Silva up in the front line. But again, they've got that four at the back, Wolves, and they're looking at that defensive back line.
Mina for Holgate, who plays it backwards to Michael Keane, just running through the centre circle up towards halfway. Matinho came closing in at pace at him. All his work to the left-hand side. And Godfrey going on a drive down the left-hand line. And in the end, playing the ball out of play for a goal kick. 3 minutes played, 0-0 at Molineux.
Yeah, I think that's good tracking back. I think it was Neto going with Godfrey there. He's putting pressure on him to play the ball. And he was able just to put enough pressure on him. They ended up kicking it out for a goal kick to us. But you can see already that Godfrey just playing there. Lucas Dean just playing in front of him, who usually plays in that left-back position.
Patricio to Cody, very short inside the Wolves penalty area. Dendoncker to Semedo. And towards the feet here of Neto. Neves trying to clear it up towards halfway as Dendoncker had continued his run. Gibbs White trying to keep things moving down the right-hand side. It looked like he maybe should have got a free kick pulled back there, but Wolves will have to settle for a throw.
Yeah, he did really well there, Gibbs White. So, but again, so like you can see that Tottenham, say Everton pressing and trying to make Wolves pass the ball, and they did that with a bit of composure, just playing out from the back. But there's got to be that get-out ball in midfield area for them.
Fabio Silva on halfway, Decore at his back. Attempted switch was actually deflected deeper into the Everton half, and Godfrey nodding back to the keeper. Jordan Pickford, one of a number who'll be watched by Steve Holland, one of the England coaching staff, who's here, no doubt keeping an eye on Conor Cody and how he's adapting to life in a back four as well. Euros will be closing in. In the meantime, Semedo's having to close in on Lucas Dean out on the left-hand side. Back infield to Tom Davis, into his own half to Michael Keane. Across the centre circle for Yerry Mina. And to run over halfway and feed it out to the right-hand touchline to Iwobi. Infield to James Rodriguez, trying to switch the play to the left-hand side of the box to Luca Dean. Backwards towards Iwobi, arriving, deflected and in. Everton sweeping move early in the game, and Iwobi had all the time in the world to arrive onto the pass back to the edge of the area from Lucas Dean. And there was a slight touch on it, but it was always heading goalwards. And Everton getting an early breakthrough at Molineux. Wolves 0, Everton 1.
Well, that started with Welby down this right-hand side. He continued his run inside and found himself just going into the 18-yard box. Nobody picking him up. And all he had to do was get contact on it. And the ball back from Dean. Nobody picking him up. Yeah, I think he's gone off Connor Cody. Just deflected from Patricio, but too much space, not tracking runners. Yeah, that's a big blow after 5 minutes to concede.
Well, once more, Wolves conceding first in a game. It has been an all too familiar story. Conceded first now in 10 of the last 11 matches since they kept a clean sheet in the Premier League against Crystal Palace back in October. It's now 12 of 18 Premier League matches this season that Wolves have conceded the first goal. And they will be furious at the manner of which they conceded that. Far too easy.
Yeah, it was. And said nobody tracked Welby. As I said, started out on this right-hand side and just followed his pass inside and found himself on the edge of the box free.
Here's Pedro Neto turning inside the Everton half, heading out to the Wolves' right. They try and find a way back into the game. Gibbs White trying to force his way into the penalty area, and it'll be a Wolves throw fairly deep inside the Palace half. And Nuno already looks a fairly frustrated figure as he comes back to take his seat in the bench.
Well, he'd be disappointed to concede so early on, wouldn't he? So that's the thing.
Coutinho forwards. Here's Dendoncker. Low one in, or it's just behind Fabio Silva.
Same kind of position, pulled back, wasn't it, where Welby's just scored. But unfortunately, we didn't have anybody there to connect.
It wasn't a bad pullback at all. It's that element of gambling, isn't it?
Yeah, well, you just saw the goal for Everton come from that kind of position when the ball was pulled back. And then Welby continued his run, as I mentioned, and was able just to get it into the goal.
Ainori being blocked off by Holgate. Ball rebounded off the Wolves man. And it's an Everton throw just past the midway point of their own half. We are just approaching 8 minutes played here at Molineux. Wolves 0, Everton 1. Not the start we were hoping or expecting here. Still plenty of time left in the game. Semedo for Neves, out to the right-hand touchline to Neto, backwards to Cody, across to Romain Saiz, midway inside the Wolves half, out to the left-hand side to Aït-Nouri, back to Romain Saiz, infield to Ruben Neves, turning and playing a short pass to his right-hand side to Cody, we'll switch it back across for Saiz. Early towards the feet of Gibbs White. The ball's going to rebound to Fabio Silva. First time wide to Aït-Nouri. Back infield to Gibbs White. Looking to try and cut infield and ends up playing it rather straight at Decore. Yerry Mina back to his keeper and Pickford putting his foot through it. No nonsense.
Yeah, well, he's one of the best kickers of a ball as a goalkeeper, isn't he, Pickford? So he's got a good left foot. So he's generally comfortable at that position, but still like to put a little bit more pressure on him.
There's Gibbs White for Matinho over the halfway line. Tackled by Tom Davis. James Rodriguez bringing it forwards, getting away from Gibbs White and Matinho. Infield to Davis on the edge of the centre circle. Foot in again by Matinho, but this time Martin Atkinson blows his whistle for an Everton free kick.
Yeah, so look, Davis just running through there. It took 4 of them to stop him there. Got to be a little bit wiser to that midfield area. Rodriguez in that midfield. We know he's a talent. He can pick a pass. We've got to get close to him.
Everton are sending Keane and Godfrey forwards. And James Rodriguez is going to come and take this. So Wolves having to try and sort out their defensive line a couple of yards outside the penalty area. It's less than 10 yards over the halfway line. Rather straight ball that Aït-Nouri can intercept, though Tom Davis has taken the ball off his toes and now looking to try and cut back infield. Interception by Neves, but he couldn't hold on to the ball. Keane will work it back to Decore inside the centre circle as Everton are controlling the tempo of what we're seeing at the moment. James Rodriguez on halfway to his right-hand side to Decore, back across the centre circle to Keane, and to try and play it high down the left-hand side to Lucas Dean back in field to Sigurdsson. All the way back to halfway to Keane. Wolves barely getting close enough to the ball here.
No, and that's what I was just about to mention. If we're not going to put any pressure on the ball, Everton eventually are going to be able to pick that pass out, which they did for the goal. You've got to try and get a little bit closer to them, to put some kind of pressure on them, to pressure them actually into giving us the ball back. But at the minute, they're getting nowhere near it.
Well, they've got Fabio Silva effectively playing as a left midfielder at the minute as it goes down the Everton left to Lucas Dean, who again is up against Semedo. Just turning back and heading towards the corner flag, trying to get room on his left foot. Delivers his cross into the danger zone, and Neves took a huge gamble there by chesting it back towards his own goal. Rui Patricio stepped across and claimed it. There's calmness and composure for you.
Yeah, it was. He was composed, wasn't it? So he just chested it down, but he knew what was around him, so he knew he was able to do it. And again, it's having that trust in your own ability as well, which he's definitely got. But Wolves have got to do something, just try and get themselves into this game. Because at the minute, Everton are looking sharp, they're looking crisp with the passing, and Wolves at the minute aren't getting anywhere near them.
There's Neves over the halfway line on the inside right. Midway between the centre circle and the touchline, finds the feet of Fabio Silva, who passed it too short, really. And then Donker and Dean closed in, and it ends up being an Everton throw. And again, just a little bit sloppy in certain areas. Wolves' passing hasn't been anywhere near as direct as it would need to be.
No, it's having that little bit of care with it as well, isn't it? So there's no real pressure on him to keep to pass the ball as such, and there's no pressure on him to give it away. But you can't afford to keep doing that. They're under the cosh a little bit anyway, and to just give it away without no pressure on you, there's a little bit.
Now then, Pedro Neto trying to get away down the right. Came off an Everton player. They want to take the throw quickly. In the end, he'll leave it for Nelson Semedo to come forwards. It's all about the response now from Wolves with 12 and a half minutes played, trailing that early goal from Alex Iwobi.
Yeah, I just think that they're going to have a little bit more movement in front of them. They've got to try and get a little bit further up the pitch because they haven't really threatened at all.
Gibbs White trying to carry it forwards, running at Tom Davis to Neto, who's cutting infield just outside the area on his left foot, still running. Ends up needing support from Moutinho, trying to tee it up for Neves. Out to the right side to Semedo. Semedo going past his man. Low one in the box. Tom Davis turning it behind for a Wolves corner. That's much better play.
Yeah, it is. It's the first time they've actually put something together, some passes, and been able to get behind the back line of Everton. But it's all about the timing and the pace of the pass. Just Semedo, you could see he was just trying to pull it back. Had enough bodies in there.
Yeah, there were four of them waiting.
Yeah. It's just unfortunate that he just couldn't pick any of ours there, but he got the corner out of it.
Neto to take, left-footed from the right-hand side, hanging it high towards the far post. Jerry Mina climbing highest, comes through to Ait Nouri, who goes past Akore into the penalty area, fizzes his cross through, and it's 1-1. Super equaliser, Ruben Neves. Perfect positioning. Brilliant play by Ait Nouri to keep it alive. Fizzed his cross through. For a moment, it looked like he was going to avoid everybody, but not Ruben Neves. It's Wolves 1, Everton 1, back in the game.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's a great ball in from Ait Nouri, but what a finish. What a finish. That was harder than you think. But just to come, because it come pretty quick towards him, and to have the composure, what we saw earlier, at the other end of the pitch when he's just chested the ball back to Patricio. Oh, it's a great finish.
Absolutely laid on a plate for his second goal of the season, his 17th in a Wolves shirt. And, you know, apart from penalties, that is the first inside the penalty area for Ruben Neves.
And what a way to do it. Getting back to it, it's a great ball in from Ait Nouri, but it was a hard finish and he dealt with it really well.
Important to get back on level terms so early in the game, making amends for the error. Allowed Alex Iwobi to give Everton the lead. And now, can they truly impose themselves on this?
It just shows you that they can do it, and we know they've got the character to get themselves back into game. They've done it that many times. It's just unfortunate they go behind and they have to get themselves back into it, but again, it just shows you the quality that they've got.
There is Dendoncker over the halfway line, under pressure from Tom Davis. To Neves, across the centre circle for Saiss. Out to the left-hand side to Aït-Nouri. Back to Romain Saiss. Trying to hit a big cross-field diagonal ball in the direction of Neto. Godfrey got his head to it. Neto's going to put some real pressure on. And Neto trying to keep it alive in the box. Tom Davis coming across. Dendoncker is there as well. Neto trying to get in front of Tom Davis, and he's managed to win the ball back through sheer force of will. Gibbs White to Neves, to the right-hand side to Semedo. Out wide again to Pedro Neto. Up against Lucas Dean, cutting infield on his left foot, still allowed to run. Cross takes a big deflection, loops in the air, and Pickford chooses to punch rather than catch. And the ball will bounce out of play for a Wolves throw down by the left-hand corner flag.
Yeah, it's positive from Neto, isn't it, on that right-hand side, coming in on his left. But it took a wicked deflection. I think it was spinning as well. And I think that's why Pickford ended up having to punch it, because he was unsure about what was going to happen with it.
Martinho crossing from deep, away by Keane. Sigurdsson heading back towards Lucas Dean, and Neto trying to win it back from him. Dendoncker, Neto, right-hand side of the penalty area. There's plenty of blue shirts in front of him. Cross in towards Fabio Silva. Oh, what a save by Pickford. Fabio Silva stretching his right boot at it. Sent it goalwards, and Pickford, instinctive reaction, low to his right-hand side, managed to keep it out and keep it at 1-1.
Again, good play from Neto, wasn't it? Anywhere else he's scoring, isn't he? It's straight down. It's Pickford. Probably didn't have that much pace on it, but anywhere else in the goal. And when things aren't going free in front of goal, that's the kind of things that happen. But again, it's getting in the right place. At least he was in there and he's willing to have an effort. But good play from Neto to win the ball back initially.
It's been a good little spell, this, either side of the goal from Wolves. As Everton now try and hit back at the other end through James Rodriguez. Now Holgate, back to Yerry Mina. Into the centre circle to Keane. Look to play it to James, who's dropped deep again. Now to Keane, just over the halfway line. Trying to feed it through a gap, finding Gylfi Sigurdsson. Godfrey all the way back to Keane inside his own half again. 18 minutes played at Molineux tonight. Wolves 1, Everton 1.
Well, that first 10 minutes, never in the game with the Wolves. But they've definitely come back into it. They've definitely started to cause a problem for Everton. Now they've just got to try and build on it.
Gibbs White to Martinho. Flicking it on for Aït-Nouri. Had come racing up down the left-hand side, running deep into the Everton half and skipping past a couple of challenges and still going on the edge of the area. Back to Gibbs White, who tries to check again. And then the ball hits the referee as Aït-Nouri found Martinho, but we play on because Wolves still have it. Back out to Aït-Nouri on the left-hand side. He's looking full of confidence now.
I was just about to mention that. It looks like he's up for the game and he's looking sharp.
Or Gibbs White on the turn, midway inside the half. Oh, unlucky as he tried to feed it through to Fabio Silva. Just an interception as Fabio Silva had spun around on the inside left channel. It's interesting that effectively Gibbs White is playing through the middle, with Neto to his right and Fabio Silva to his left, and playing in a position that he will very much enjoy.
Well, I think you got like Neves just in front of the back four, then you got Dendoncker and Martinho, and then it's like a diamond, isn't it, with Gibbs White.
There's Iwobi. James Rodriguez back onto Iwobi in the penalty area again, and this time a low save by Rui Patricio down to his right-hand side.
Yeah, I think they got away with that there. Again, it's a bit too easy. He's just come in there, played a little 1-2. We've got enough bodies around there to stop him. Good positioning from Patricio. But we've got to do a lot better. We've got to try and do something.
Neves with a super ball to get Pedro Neto away down the right-hand side. Just crowded out. Dendoncker on the follow-up, smashed it goalwards. It's going to come to the edge of the area to Martinho. Martinho trying to tee it up here to Ruben Neves. Neves closed down by Decore, finding Gibbs White in towards the feet of Neto. Taking it out to the right-hand side. Support from Semedo. Back infield to Pedro Neto on his left foot. Trying a little reverse one to Dendoncker. Onto Gibbs White, who takes it on. He's just going to run out of room, though. This is lovely football from Wolves at the minute. They are being so direct at times and willing to play some intricate little passes in and around the area. And it's causing Everton some real issues.
But I'll tell you what the difference is. We spoke about them having a little bit of care earlier on about keeping the ball and not being sloppy, all of a sudden you've seen what can happen when you start to find your passes and it's sharp, it's quick. All of a sudden, Everton have found it difficult to deal with. And that's the difference between that first 10 minutes where we were a little bit sloppy, but at the minute we're causing major problems to Everton.
Shots of Raul Jimenez and Adama Traore watching in the crowd down below us. We'll be enjoying what they're seeing at the minute as Wolves are playing well as we head past the 21-minute mark. Wolves 1, Everton 1. Behind early on to Alex Iwobi's strike, but since then, their reaction and response has been very impressive.
But I think they've upped the tempo a little bit with the passing. I think he was a little bit slow in that first period of the game. But all of a sudden, that tempo's increased and Everton have found it difficult to stay with the runners.
Here's Davis. Sigurdsson to the left-hand side to Godfrey. 10 yards in the Wolves' half. Gets it back from Lucas Dean. Well, Michael Keane taking over. Across the centre circle for Mina. James Rodriguez has dropped short. Just over halfway. Back across the centre circle to Keane again. Back again to James Rodriguez. Wolves with effectively 2 banks of 4 and Fabio Silva putting pressure on. It's going to be an Everton throw. That's really unlucky for the youngster.
It was, because he read it really well, hadn't he? Silva done really well there to close it down. Could have gone either way as well.
There's Keane again, looking for a long diagonal out to the right-hand side to Iwobi. Closed down by Aït-Nouri, 10 yards from the corner flag. Into James Rodriguez, left-footed cross, headed away by Saiz. And Fabio Silva getting there ahead of Holgate. He's not giving it up as he chases. Eventually the ball will run away from him though. Paul Rollins says, sorry, my wife forgot to put her Lucky Wolves bobble hat on. As soon as she did, we scored.
There we go.
You have to have words there, Paul. James Rodriguez on for Iwobi. Low wants the edge of the area. This time Neves is tracking back. Saiz heading the ball out of the penalty area. It's going to drop to Iwobi though. He's allowed to turn and face her. Martinho put pressure on. Ball went back to Mina. Infield to Davis. He's looking to go towards the Everton left. Now turning back and finding James Rodriguez to his right. Closed down by Gibbs White, the most advanced Wolves man.
So just watching it here, Iwobi's not getting involved in anything. He's just staying out onto this right flank. Aït-Nouri doesn't know who to deal with because Decore has just pushed up alongside him as well.
Good reading of the game by Aït-Nouri to slide in an interceptor pass meant for Iwobi.
Did well there.
Saiz to Patricio, back to Romain Saiz. Past the halfway point of the first half. There's a real good tempo and urgency about both teams in this game. Didn't really predict that many goals, but you get the feeling that it's not going to stay 1-1.
No, not with the way both teams are playing. Because they're both having a go going for it. So like Wolves have stepped up to Everton.
Considering the lack of recognised strikers on the pitch from both teams as well.
Exactly, yeah. So it's we've tried to work out who would play up front for them. Sigurdsson seems to be the more advanced, but then Rodriguez just pushes in. So they're swapping over as well.
There's Romain Saiz in the centre of the half to Pedro Neto, who's allowed to turn and face Decore. Wide to the left-hand side to Aït-Nouri. Back to Saiz. Infield to Jean Martinho, who's dropped into a centre-half position. Play it short to Cody. Back to the left-hand side to Romain Saiz. Forwards towards Neto. Lovely control by Pedro Neto. And he's got Aït-Nouri racing past him. And Neto trying to cut back in field. Support from Neves. Neves lining up a dig from distance. It wasn't bad at all. Jordan Pickford was scrambling. It may well have been going wide, but Pickford got fingertips to it and helped it on its way for a corner.
I think it was going wide. I think Pickford's just tried to catch it and realised he's a little bit out of his reach. I think he's gone well wide, but I think he's tried to catch it.
Swerving, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was swerving away from him.
Across it.
Yeah. But I think his manager's too happy with him, Pickford. And he's apologising to the rest of them.
The Wolves with a corner out on the right-hand side that Martinho and Neto have gone across to take. 25 minutes played here at Molineux. They have 3 in a line behind the penalty spot. Fabio Silva behind Dendoncker and remains Saiss, who's trying to hide as the corner goes short. Neto left-footed into the danger zone. Off the head of Mina. Fabio Silva trying to keep it alive. Headed clearance that Tom Davies can try and bring forwards. Gibbs White, though, intercepting. Dendoncker in front of Davies. Here's Matinho. Now to Gibbs White, 25 yards from goal. Central position, heading out towards the Wolves' right. Feeds it out to the feet of Neto. Neto up against Iwobi. A couple of little step overs, twisting and turning onto his right foot. Now back onto his left here, Neto. Delivering his cross to the far post. Fabio Silva stretching, got a touch, but couldn't get it on target. And it goes behind for a goal kick.
That was unlucky, wasn't it? Just over hit a little bit from Neto. But I'll tell you what, in this first 26 minutes, he's looked really lively, Neto. He's caused them some big problems. And we just get back to, what about his touch from that ball from the back?
Oh, absolutely.
Neto. Oh, he just brought it out of the air. It's like it was zipped into him. What a great touch.
Wolves 1, Everton 1. 26 and a half minutes played. Jerry Mina carries the ball forwards. He's it over the halfway line out to the right touchline to Iwobi. All the way back to Mina. Looking to play it to Keane. Keane back to Mina. Just short of the centre circle. Just to the right-hand side of it now. Forwards towards Decore. Out to the right-hand side to Iwobi. Closed down by Neves with the ball bouncing into the path of Decore. Crosses early and Saiss sliding in. Sends it behind for a corner. Rui Patricio did his best to try and save it.
Yeah, some pace on it, wasn't it, from Decore? So look again. Just rebounded straight to him and he just tried to hit the ball in first time. Saiss just got there because I think it was Sigurdsson who was just behind him. So he had to deal with it.
James Rodriguez to take the corner out on the Everton right. In front of the Graham Hughes stand in the corner. Between the South Bank and the Billy Wright. Rodriguez left-footed, whipping it towards the edge of the 6-yard box. Saiss with a good header away. Decore was trying to find Iwobi, but Matinho will intercept, and Dendoncker had come racing up on the right-hand side as Wolves trying to hit on the counter. Support from Pedro Neto. Support behind him from Neves, and now infield to João Matinho. Edge of the centre circle in the Everton half. Out to Neto again on the right-hand side. Dendoncker in front of him, Semedo outside of him. Neto cutting infield and finding Ruben Neves. Out to the right-hand side to Semedo. Back infield to Matinho. Again heading out towards the right-hand side. Neto just in front of him, just outside the corner of the box. Back to Matinho. Wide here for Dendoncker. And to use support for Matinho, who dropped into the right-back position, and he goes all the way back to Cody.
Yeah, if it's not on, they'll come out and start again. You see it time and time again.
Neves across to Cody. Now over halfway to Matinho, still in the right-back position. Infield to Dendoncker. Now to Neves, just to the right of the centre circle. Now for Matinho. Just dinking it to the chest of Semedo. Closed down by Lucas Dean, and that's come off his hand and will be a Wolves free kick. 29 minutes played. Semedo, yeah, just hit the arm of Lucas Dean. Wolves with the chance to try and whip on into the penalty area here. Saiss has gone forwards. Cody staying back. Fabio Silva, Dendoncker, Gibbs White all in the area. Aït-Nouri and Neves outside of it. Everton are quite deep here defensively.
Well, they're just outside the 6-yard box, and they say, look, it's any quality in there. They say it's going to be a problem for the goalkeeping defenders.
Neto touches it for Matinho. Now to Semedo on the right-hand side. Cross takes a big deflection, loops into the 6-yard box, and Jordan Pickford claims.
Yeah, just took all the sting out of it, didn't he, with the deflection. Made it easy for Pickford.
Yeah, good delivery out to Iwobi, who carries it over the halfway line. Closed down by Neves, back to halfway to Holgate. Infield for Davis. Sliding challenge coming in from Matinho, avoids it. Works it out to Iwobi on the Everton right. Onto Decore, has run on the underlap. Low cross in, blocked off by Neves, cleared away. Everton throw just about 10 yards from their right-hand corner flag. Half an hour played. James getting on with it. Throws it down to Iwobi. Back to Holgate. All the way back to Yerry Mina. It's the centre circle to Keane. Now to Mina again. Oh, and Saïs's clearance smacked into Ruben Neves from close range. Nouri's managed to keep it in on the left-hand touchline. That'll sting Ruben Neves.
Well, he's holding his hand there a little bit, wasn't he? He must have felt the force of that.
A cold night as well.
I know.
There's Dendoncker up towards halfway. Leaves it for Gibbs-White. He's done well so far, Morgan Gibbs-White.
He has, yeah. So, look, I'd just like to see him to do a little bit more around that 18-yard box that we know he can, and that's going to be the thing that I would like to see. You've seen Neto, you've seen Silva again in there, just like Gibbs-White, just to get a little bit more advanced and do a little bit more around that 18-yard box.
Cody aiming for a diagonal that Godfrey headed out of play. Wolves throw. Semedo infield to Moutinho. Moutinho off on a little bit of a dribble. Has support from Gibbs-White. He was a little bit behind him, but he did well to make sure Sigurdsson didn't intercept it from him. Neves for Moutinho. Now to Neves again. Trying to lift it towards Semedo. Intercepted by Luca Dean, but headed straight back to Ruben Neves. Cody, low across the centre circle for Saïs. Just leaves it for Moutinho to take over. For Nouri. Back to Saïs on halfway. A short 5-yard pass to Ruben Neves. That is a 1-2 with Moutinho. Back to Saïs again. Left-hand side of the centre circle. Looking towards the Wolves' right this time. Out towards Semedo. Had to wait for the ball to reach him, and goes back infield to Cody. Feels like after what felt like a frantic first 25, 28 minutes, it's maybe just settling in.
Yeah, they are.
A little bit more of a rhythm now.
Yeah, so they've slowed it down completely, haven't they? So look, all of a sudden they've gone from being sharp after that Everton goal, which set them back a little bit. But all of a sudden now they've just started to slow it down. But I'm sure the further they go up the pitch, the tempo will rise.
There's Cody. Nice ball lifted out down the right-hand side to Semedo, who's advancing into the penalty area here. Semedo trying to lift his cross in. It goes all the way through the penalty area, almost along the line of the 6-yard box. Two players were in there, and it just seemed to dissect them both.
Yeah, so look, it just needed somebody to stick a leg out, didn't it? So look, the ball's come across. Great ball from Semedo, but it just needed somebody just to stick a leg out or something, trying to get some kind of connection on it. But it just shot across. It was a great ball in.
Neves with a 1-2 to Dendoncker. Yeah. Semedo out to Neto on the right-hand side again, looking to cut in field on his left foot, midway inside the Everton half. A little short pass to Moutinho. Now to Neves. One towards Semedo, wide for Dendoncker. Infield to Neto. It's a bit of a heavy touch from him, allowed Everton to intercept. And Neves, in trying to win it, looked like he'd fouled Gylfi Sigurdsson, but Everton have the ball, so Martin Atkinson wave play on. And Everton ended up getting a throw.
Yeah, so it looked promising there, didn't it? Just give the ball away.
We'll have a look at this then. A little replay on our screens. Semedo came driving forwards. Dendoncker was in there. He stooped and just missed it.
I think that's what put Silva off. I think once he stooped, I think Silva stopped. I think he could see him holding his hands out there in frustration. But I think when Dendoncker's gone for the header, Silva's just put a pause to his run. I think if he continued it, he might have been a little bit close to putting something on it.
Well, his last goal was against Everton here in July, when he helped on Pedro Neto's free kick in the second half. It was the second of the 3 goals Wolves got that day. There's Mina on the edge of his own penalty area. 34.5 minutes played at Molineux. It's been a really entertaining game so far.
Yeah, both teams have had a go, haven't they? So, and say they've looked some quality play in that top third for both teams. Wolves have done well. I think Wolves have definitely took the game to Everton and given them a few concerns.
Mina for Holgate. A couple of yards inside his own half. Infield to Keane, short of the centre circle. That's the left-hand side to Godfrey. Short pass down the line towards Dean, intercepted by Neto. Semedo can carry it over the halfway line. Flicking it forwards to Gibbs White on the turn and smashed in the back by Godfrey, and that will be a Wolves free kick.
I was going to say, I don't think there's any doubt in that one. It's quite blatant, wasn't it? Just run straight into the back of him. Just put the brakes on Gibbs White.
Taken quickly. Oh, Neves decides no, they haven't. Just for a moment, it looked like he wanted to get on with things, and Moutinho will take it quickly out to the right hand side to Neto. Down the line for Semedo. Back in field to Moutinho. To Neves. Saiss had committed himself forwards, and he's still there as they tried to find Semedo down the right, but pass a little bit over here and behind for a goal kick.
Yeah, just a little bit of pressure put on Neves. He had to rush it a little bit. But that's what I'm talking about. If you put pressure on players, especially in those central positions, all of a sudden they can't really pick that pass, or they find it difficult to.
Well, what a turnaround. Wolves now dominating possession, 55-45, and 6 efforts on goal to Everton's 2. It's been a really good response to going behind early on in this game.
Yeah, that seems to be a get-out ball, isn't it? Iwelumo down this right-hand side from Keane.
Holgate, infield to Mina. Iron side of the centre circle, just over halfway. So he's left to Keane. Now to Mina again, closed down by Gibbs White. Gibbs White has won the ball, but Martin Atkinson decides he did so unfairly.
Oh, I don't know. I think he was in trouble, Mina. And just gone to ground there on the challenge. I don't think there was much in it from Gibbs White.
There's Keane going all the way back to Pickford, who's a good couple of yards outside his penalty area. Short pass to Mina. Infield to Keane. Looking to try and smash it forwards down the left-hand side towards Lucas Dean. Semedo back there in front of him and saving a corner, but Dean has got back in front of him by the corner flag and trying to spin round and get it onto his left foot to deliver his cross in that Patricio can wait for it to bounce into his arms at the near post.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing what Semedo did, stopping it going out for a corner. But it turned out okay in the end. Quite easy for Patricio. Just need to be careful there.
Coutinho infield to Neves, to the left-hand side to Aït-Nouri. Cutting infield away from Holgate, over halfway to Fabio Silva. Gibbs White making a lung-busting run, but the pass was just a bit too far ahead of him. Pickford was under real pressure from Aït-Nouri, and it forced a short pass to Davis, but Everton have done well to play their way out of danger.
Yeah, just needed to be a fraction closer, didn't they? But they've done well. They've won it back, though, Wolves.
Yeah, Dendoncker showing strength ahead of James Rodriguez. And a good ball into the feet of Gibbs White, who turns and feeds it to the left-hand side to Aït-Nouri. Aït-Nouri crossing from deep, away by Mina at the near post. Holgate to Davis to Iwobi. And Everton trying to get the ball clear. Iwobi going on the outside of João Moutinho. Sigurdsson leaves it for James Rodriguez. Out to Lucas Dean. 35 yards from goal. Infield to Decore. Leaves it for James Rodriguez to take over. Low out to the feet of Holgate, the right back. Further out to the right-hand side to Iwobi. Into the penalty area for the run of Decore. And then under pressure from Saiss. I think Saiss got a toe to the ball, and it will be an Everton throw.
Yeah, he did well there, Saiss. Just got I think a little toe to it or something, just to kick it out for a throw into Everton. Their danger man's definitely been Iwobi down this right-hand side, hasn't it? He's found a lot of space.
Coutinho blocking, attempted ball in field. Gibbs White challenging, Everton throw in front of Nuno on the edge of his technical area. Back to Keane. About 5.5 minutes of the first 45 still to play. Tom Davis back to Keane again. All seemingly happy for Keane to see a lot of the ball. When it went into Sigurdsson, they swarmed around him and won it back. Moutinho now with a cheeky back heel. Oh, and Semedo miscontrols on the right-hand touchline.
I was going to say, it looked like he had that. I took me off him for a second there because I thought he was comfortable, and just seen the ball running out of play.
He just lost his footing, maybe.
Yeah. Here's your hot blanket, mate. Is it all right?
Yeah, just resetting.
That's okay then. Just don't need to get a chill.
5 minutes to go till half time. Tomo's just delighted because he's got his own heated blanket now. It's not quite as cold as it was on Friday night.
Oh no, it's freezing Friday, wasn't it?
It's -3. Wind chill.
Yeah.
Not quite as cold as that tonight, but still only about 1 degree.
Us old folk, eh? Us old folk need all that.
Us? Sorry. You including me in that?
If you want to.
Absolutely not. Here's Martinho. Someone was asking me about Chorley before the game. I said there was only 2.
Is that all you was?
Yeah. You just signed?
I just signed, yeah.
Yeah, you were about 30 when you arrived, weren't you?
19. Somebody on the car park when I come in just said, "Look, you look younger now than you did then." I said, "You joking, are you?" She thought it was a joke. That she thought somebody put the air shot it onto me, the hair and moustache. So no, that's how I used to look.
Actually, you should bring back the moustache.
No.
Just for Chorley.
See, that's what scarred me, mate. I think it's that moustache and long hair. It scarred me.
Michael Keane has it deep inside the Everton half, by the way. Across to Mina. Towards halfway for Everton. To Holgate. Wide for Iwobi, that's gone out of play. Get in touch. Use the hashtag Wolves Live if you'd like Tomo to bring back the moustache for one game only. What a moment that would be if you went to Chorley with the moustache.
I was in tears when I left Chorley.
Hashtag Wolves Live on social media. Tashback.
He's off again. You've missed that, haven't you?
Here's Cody up to halfway for Wolves. Trying to feed it down the line for the run of Neto, and Neto's got such speed. Tried to get to it, but Godfrey did well to step across in front of him and see it behind for a goal kick. Wolves 1, Everton 1, 42.5 minutes played. Also can get you the comments from our YouTube feed for those of you listening in on Matchday Live Extra on there. We have about 2 minutes left of the first half to play, plus maybe a little bit added on. Wolves 1, Everton 1. And here's Keane on the halfway line again. Trying to play it in behind for the run of Lucas Dean. Semedo did just enough, and an offside flag has gone up anyway, but they'll play on because Dendoncker can carry it forwards.
Yeah, they recovered pretty well there, didn't they? So they ended up getting the ball back.
And here comes Gibbs White. That's a good ball to find Aït-Nouri deep inside the Everton half. To the edge of the box for Dendoncker, who strikes it. And he sliced across the ball. It was a big opportunity. He was sitting there invitingly. It was well played again by Aït-Nouri.
Yeah, he's done well down this left-hand side, hasn't he? He's looked sharp. And again, he's involved in the goal. He picked Dendoncker. Dendoncker just walking back with his head back. Just needed a decent contact on it, didn't he? Because he timed it to perfection, just coming in there on the edge of the box. But it needed a little bit more contact on it.
And it's Keane midway inside his own half into the final minute of the half. Oliver says Neves is playing good recently. He's on form. Jonathan Mallard, one of those joining in the Tashback. Gotta love it. In the meantime, Lucas Dean out on the left-hand side for Everton, deep inside the Wolves half up against Semedo, delivering his cross in, and Aït-Nouri was the man charged with dealing with it. For a moment, it looked like Patricio was going to come out. In the end, he stepped back and allowed his fullback to put it over the bar for an Everton corner.
Well, it's the right decision from Patricio. So, look, he couldn't really come for it. Dug the cross out, didn't he, Dean? No, so he was a bit far out for him to come for it. He had to deal with it.
1 more minute to play. Lionheart says, Tomo Tash, bring it back. Corner, right-footed from the left-hand side. Everybody in a gold shirt is pretty much within 12 yards of their own goal. Mina getting a flick on at the near post and loops over the top of the crossbar. Wolves 1, Everton 1. Here you go, wedding dress retail outlet. Say Tomo Tashback for Chorley. See, even the businesses are getting involved.
All the businesses.
Here's Cody to Matinho. Last couple of seconds of the first half. Finding Dendoncker, just short of halfway. Over it to Gibbs White, and that is the end of the first half. And what a fascinating first half it was in the end. Alex Iwobi giving Everton the lead with their first real attack of the game. Allowed just to coast into the Wolves penalty area and get on the end of Lucas Dean's pass and give Everton the lead. May have been a very slight deflection off Connor Cody that found its way into the bottom corner as intended. The Wolves then came back strongly. And in the end, it was Ruben Neves with his first Wolves goal from open play inside the opposition penalty area. Managed to get on the end of Ait Nouri's ball in, turning the ball home. Wolves have had some good opportunities since then. Fabio Silva amongst them. Leander Dendoncker will feel like maybe he could have got on the end of one or two things. At the break, Wolves 1, Everton 1, and what a good game so far.
It has been. So, like, I think the reaction that came from Wolves after going a goal down, so that has been brilliant. I think it showed the character of what this squad's got. We spoke about having the youngsters in the team, and say again, they just show that spirit to go and push on, and they got a great goal from Neves, well set up by Ait Nouri. But as you touched on there, then Donker's had a couple of chances. We know that one might come across where he's just missed it with his head. He's had that volley on the edge of the box where I thought he could have done a little bit better. So they have had some good opportunities to get in there. But what I do like about it in that first half is the way that they come back and the way they reacted to go into a goal down.
We read out a message from Paul Rollins earlier that said that his wife forgot to put her Lucky Wolves bobble hat on, and as soon as she did, we scored. Helen says her son didn't have his lucky hoodie on, and he put it on, and then we scored. Well, this is just not good enough, everybody.
They're going to have to think about it.
If you have lucky items of clothing, you really need to be wearing it from minute 1 until minute 90. Also, by the way, loads of messages coming in. As Thomas Ludvigsen says, come on, get the tash back. Paul Rollins, another one saying, bring it back, Tomo. Wolves Dave says, love the idea of Tomo bringing the tash back for Chorley. He's watching in the States and says the TV feed is so delayed and without commentary that he puts us on instead. Great to have you with us. Use the hashtag Wolves Live. Get Tomo to get that tash back for Chorley. That's the campaign that we are starting. More from Tomo and also from Carl Ikeme and Chris Iwelumo to come in just a minute. Don't go anywhere. This is Wolves TV Matchday Live Extra.
Matchday Live on Wolves TV. Listen for free online at wolves.co.uk or on the move anywhere in the world via the Wolves app.
The Old Goal Club has a new series, My Golden Game. Speaking to former and current players, coaches, managers and fans of the matches that meant the most to them.
It's a club who I have in my heart, and I always keep following it.
I'd been back to Molineux on a few occasions, and I never got a good reception, and that hurt me a little bit. Not that I thought I deserved better, but maybe because of those two games against West Brom, where I scored 4 goals in 2 appearances.
Check out the series so far, featuring the likes of Julian Lescott, Kevin Doyle, Neil Emblem and Dennis Irwin.
I was absolutely delighted when they came in from England, and even more so when, after having a tough first 4 or 5 months, that we were on a bit of a roll and ended up playing in this fantastic game.
Old Goal Club, My Golden Game, available now.
Wolverhampton Wanderers is a club with a bright future, but also a shining past. See the history of the club we love, from humble beginnings to the present day, in the Wolves Museum, featuring unique artefacts from our illustrious past and interactive exhibits for kids big and small. The Wolves Museum, open Fridays, Saturdays and Sundays from 10 a.m. Book online at wolves.co.uk or visit the ticket office.
Matchday Live on Wolves TV. Listen for free online at wolves.co.uk or on the move anywhere in the world via the Wolves app.
So half-time here at Molineux. Wolves 1, Everton 1. Ruben Neves cancelling out Alex Iwobi's early strike for the Toffees. It's been a really good game so far, Chris Iwelumo. I'm enjoying it. I don't know about you boys at home.
No, very much so. I think probably disappointing with the goal that we conceded. You know, I think Iwobi, far too much space, had the time to actually just pick his spot, executed it well, but Tom was spot on. The reaction to that, you know, the energy, the quality that we've shown to get the goal, again, outstanding. Fabio Silva's had a chance. I think he's done everything right. It's a very hard one to take. It's bounced just in front of him. He's took it on the half volley. As a goalkeeper, he's probably, I think Pickford, it's a good save. It's a good reaction save from that distance, good strong hand. And again, Silva's movement's been excellent for me. Ryan Aït-Nouri down that left-hand side. Again, I agree with Tomo, has been outstanding. And Neves, his first goal inside the box, it just shows you. I think he's been outstanding the last couple of games. He's getting it deep. His execution, his distribution with it has been excellent, and he's getting himself in the box. And to get a goal at that is something that we all said after the Sheffield United game. Can he do that? Can he go box to box? Can he make his play? Can he get in the box? Can he score goals in the box? And you know what? He's answering. He's got all the answers for us at the minute.
Carl Ikeme, let's go through some of those big moments, starting with Everton's opener. You just can't allow someone like Iwobi just to have that kind of time to run onto the ball.
Yeah, he had a lot of space, didn't he? If there's any criticism, which there can't be much of the half, because I think it's been a good game of football to start off with, but I think it's been a pretty good performance since the goal. Is that sometimes there seems to be a bit of a gap when Everton do break in the centre bit of the pitch. But yeah, can't allow anyone in the Premier League that sort of space. You do get punished, but as Chris and Tomo said, the reaction from that has been brilliant, and it's been important, the reaction as well, because after coming back from the Brighton game of drawing that as well, to get that bounce back reaction straight away was what we needed.
Talk us through it, because Gibbs White is kind of operating like a false nine, would you say, like a number 10 false nine, and the two players off him, and at the minute it seems to be really working.
Yeah, I think it is. I think he's holding that centre position when we're out of possession, and then I think Fabio's drifting inside when we are in possession, and Morgan's dropping not deep. I won't say deep, but he's trying to find space between the lines to have these clever little interplays with the likes of Neto, Semedo, whoever's in that place. But I really feel like with Everton being so solid in the centre of the pitch, it's important for us to be patient and keep moving the ball. And Semedo and Aït-Nouri are going to be so vital to us in this game. I believe. I feel like they need to keep getting down the wings. I feel that they've been really dangerous. But to add to Morgan Gibbs-White, he's given us an extra body in the box as well. And I think that's what we've done. Dunker getting in the box, and Ruben Neves' finishes should not be underestimated. That's a tough finish. There's a lot of pace in that ball as well. And I think it's really worked. But like we've all said, getting players in the box, we look threatening. With as Liam said, with Fabio's chance is a really good strike, great save as well. We've looked threatening when we get into the wide areas, and even though there seems to be a lot of Everton bodies in the box, there's a lot of Wolves bodies in the box, and you sometimes it might not be the first initial ball which you get it might be the second ball which you can find a strike off.
Well, Mikey, you called it in the last game about this formation that we play, and Morgan coming back in, and I think him and Fabio Silva, they really complement each other. Morgan can play anywhere. No, he's a good technical footballer. When he was coming in and out the team, he was usually slotting in beside the likes of Martino or Neves, because he can play that role, but he had the freedom to kind of just play in front of them a little bit. And I think, so he's understanding it. Intelligent footballer. If Fabio is moving around and dropping, can he then step up and be that point man, number 9, like you said?
Well, it's interesting, and this is why I'm interested in Carl's opinion, because Carl has obviously trained with him and knows him better than any of us. And when he was coming through, Carl, there was always that debate of kind of, is he an 8 or is he a 10? I lean towards the 10, and if he's in there in that central bit, he loves being on the ball.
Yeah, I think it's still unknown. I don't think that them questions have been completely answered, but he's given us a performance that says he can play there, and I think it's a compliment him where we're saying he can do it at number 10, because it's the energy that he's bringing tonight. He's bringing energy around Fabio. Just bringing energy into the team, that youth, and he's very athletic as well. Morgan is as well. So I know Duncan's got a lot of legs, but Morgan has got that maybe a little bit more power, a little bit more pace than Duncan's got as well. So it's a different player in there, which we need, because we've struggled with players recently, having players in, and with Traore, Podence and Neto, while I still think they're all different players, they're very attacking. I need the ball, get me the ball into feet, and I'll do something. Where Morgan's more, he'll keep making runs, and he'll keep moving defenders about for someone else to get into the backs and to get their opportunity.
Well, Tomo, Keane's talked beforehand, and we all talked about the element of kind of being on loan and how it changes you. And you know, from being sat here and I've obviously been able to see him, the way he operates, even when he's not on the ball, he looks different. He doesn't look like the young kid anymore. He looks like he's come back as a first team.
Yeah, I think that when you do go away on loan, I think that you've got to grow to some capacity, because you've got to start to look after yourself a little bit more. And I mean off the pitch as well. So like he hasn't got any distractions when he's down there as such. He's goes down there as a fresh body in the changing rooms, as we touched on. And it is strange going down there. But for me, when you go out on somewhere alone or you change clubs, you want to prove somebody wrong. You want to prove that you deserve to be where you've just come from if you think that you should have still been at the club. And he's gone out on loan. As we've mentioned, he's done well when he's been on loan. He's unfortunately got injured, so he's not long back. But for him, he had something to prove. Who wants to leave Wolves? He didn't want to leave Wolves. So he's got to go there and prove that to me. And he's come back, and he does look better. He looks like he wants the ball. He's got confidence. And it's done in the world of good.
It's exactly what Tomo's just explained there. Sorry, Looms. He's gone out there. He's got the confidence to come back. And listen, Swansea's a really good club as well. But if he's looking at Swansea thinking, do you know, I'm really enjoying it here. I'm getting confidence, but I want to get back to Wolves and playing in the Prem. And he's showing that tonight.
Yeah,
I think if you were to ask Morgan himself what position, I think he would. I agree with you, Mikey. I think he would favour the 10. Just for the fact that he's got a bit of a free role. He has got that power that he can actually go box to box and he can do the defensive side of it. But he wants to bring his running in the offensive side, you know, stretching defenders, taking them, dragging them all over the place, and that creates space. And I think we're really seeing that tonight as well.
Well, as Keanes was mentioning before the game, you know, maybe going out of his comfort zone at Swansea, having been at Wolves for so long, since he was 8 years old, has really had an impact. Hopefully that continues in the second half. And talking about being out of their comfort zone, I'm sure Carl Ikeme and Iwelumo will join the many who are getting in touch to demand that Tomo brings back his moustache.
He's off again.
For Chorley. Hashtag Tash back for Chorley. Look at him there. Look at a little handsome devil.
That was Bully posted that last night. Outstanding, Tomo.
I'll tell you what, mate, outstanding. Your kids back will scare them.
Hashtag Tash back for Chorley is what we want.
Maybe you can borrow him your Tash, Mikey.
Oh yeah, his beard, his Nuno beard,
his whiskers.
My beard.
Careful, that'll blow off skin.
My beard is getting covered up. Right, Everton are on their way back out. Thank you, boys. More from Carl Ikeme and Iwelumo to come very shortly. Don't go anywhere. Second half is coming next, and hopefully Patrick Petrone off the bench, get the winner, and I'll get some money out of Boyle Sports for the Wolves Foundation. That's the dream. See you in a sec.
Matchday Live on Wolves TV. Listen for free online at wolves.co.uk or on the move anywhere in the world via the Wolves app.
The Old Goal Club has a new series, My Golden Game. Speaking to former and current players, coaches, managers and fans of the matches that meant the most to them.
It's a club who I have in my heart, and I always keep following it.
I'd been back to Molineux on a few occasions, and I never got a good reception, and that hurt me a little bit. Not that I thought I deserved better, but maybe because of those two games against West Brom, where I scored 4 goals in 2 appearances.
Check out the series so far, featuring the likes of Jodian Lescott, Kevin Doyle, Neil Emblem and Dennis Irwin.
I was absolutely delighted when they came in from England, and even more so when, after having a tough first 4 or 5 months, that we were on a bit of a roll and ended up playing in this fantastic game.
Old Goal Club, My Golden Game, powered by Blythe Group, available now.
Matchday Live on Wolves TV. Listen for free online at wolves.co.uk or on the move anywhere in the world via the...
So here we go, back underway for the second half here at Molineux. Wolves 1, Everton 1. Wolves playing from left to right as we look at its second half, attacking the Sir Jack Hayward South Bank away to our right-hand side. And immediately, João Moutinho on the ball, playing it backwards to Ruben Neves. No changes from either side at the break. I'll run you through the two teams in just a second as Pedro Neto turns on halfway and finds Semedo. Infield towards Dendoncker. Looking infield towards Moutinho. Has to head it backwards to Saiz, who nods it under pressure from Sigurdsson to the feet of Connor Cody. So Patricio in goal. Semedo, Cody, Saiz, Aït-Nouri. Dendoncker, Neves, Moutinho. Gibbs White, Fabio Silva and Pedro Neto, the attacking three. Everton with Pickford in goal, Holgate, Mina, Keane and Godfrey. Then Iwobi, Decore, Davis and Dean, Sigurdsson and Rodriguez, their most advanced two. And here's Pedro Neto on the right-hand side for Wolves. Midway inside the Everton half, infield to Moutinho. Looked over his shoulder for where Gylfi Sigurdsson was and found Saiz. Fabio Silva to Neves. First time wide for Aït-Nouri, trying to skip away from Iwobi, and I think he'll get Wolves a free kick here.
Yeah, it's quite sharp, wasn't it, Aït-Nouri? I think Iwobi's paying for the challenge as well. I think he's ended up hurting himself. But Aït-Nouri did really well. Quick feet. Yeah, he's just got his standing foot took away from him. A little bit too clever for Iwobi, wasn't he? Just a little flick.
Playing just shy of 2 minutes in the second half. Wolves with an opportunity to lift it into the Everton penalty area. It's out a couple of yards in from the left-hand touchline, just ahead of midway inside the Everton half. Moutinho touches it for Pedro Neto to carry it forwards, and Neto then lifting his cross in. I think that came off an Everton head. It will be a Wolves corner.
Yeah, so good ball in from Neto. Short free kick taken.
Loads of your messages coming in. Use the hashtag Wolves Live. Hashtag Tashback for Chorley. As Moutinho places the ball. He's right-footed on the left-hand side as Wolves attack the south bank. Neto is there short for him. 3 men waiting to run from just about on the penalty spot. Fabio Silva, the deepest of them. It goes towards Saiz, headed away though at the near post. Aït-Nouri first the loose ball backwards to Cody. Inside the centre circle, time to set himself and try and ping one wide to the left-hand side, headed away by Holgate. James Rodriguez to Decore, up to Sigurdsson. To the left-hand side to Lucas Dean. Trying to carry it deep into the Wolves half. Decore popping up on the left. Dean's continued his run. And Neves tracked him all the way this time. Dean forced wide towards the corner flag. And Neves has managed to nip it away from him and clear. Gibbs White to Semedo, to Fabio Silva, who was deep, helping out defensively, trying to set Neto away down the Wolves' right, and Godfrey is quick enough to get back in front of him and play it back to Pickford.
Yeah, he just read it as well, didn't he, Godfrey? Read it, give himself about a yard start on Neto. It's a good ball from Silva, but just give him a little bit of a hard task to get onto that.
Holgate infield to Mina, and now to Keane, midway inside his own half, to his right-hand side to Mina, to Corey at the base of the centre circle for Everton. So left-hand side to Godfrey. Back to Keane. Gibbs White blocking his route to Mina, so he has to go all the way back to Pickford, just outside the box. He'll play it to Yerry Mina. To Holgate, the right back infield to Yerry Mina again. 4 minutes played at the start of the second half. Wolves 1, Everton 1. Here's James Rodriguez over halfway. Down the line for Iwobi. Foot in by Aït-Nouri. Ball goes backwards to Mina. Picked up again by James Rodriguez, trying to switch the play out to the Everton left to Lucas Dean. Trying to play 1-2 with Sigurdsson, but Cody read it. Stepped across, found Semedo. Nice footwork from him to skip infield away from a couple of challenges. And now trying to carry the ball forwards. And if he looks up, Neto is down the line in front of him. Here is Pedro Neto trying to drive infield. Here Neto going past a couple of challenges to Corey, swiping away at him. And a yellow card is coming for Abdoulaye Doucouré.
Oh, that was a bit blatant, wasn't it? He was never catching him. Great run from Neto, brilliant play from Semedo initially, but he was never catching him. It's a bit blatant, that, isn't it, Doucouré? Just brought him down, just going away from him.
Wasn't many options on for Pedro Neto, and he was determined to just go for...
But they were just backing off from him, weren't they? They just kept backing off away from him.
Open out, invitingly.
Yeah, he did. And he was on his favoured left foot as well. Getting towards that penalty area. He's still down, Neto.
Yeah, there's no treatment coming on for him just yet, but he is still down, and Martin Atkinson now checking on him, and they will call on.
Well, he was running at speed, and so look, it only takes a little clip of somebody putting in a challenge, and all of a sudden he can knock it about. And clearly, you say he's not got up. He's got the free kick, and he's still rolling round.
Wolves can ill afford another injury.
No,
at the moment, with Adama Traore joining the lengthy list of those who are watching from the stands. In the meantime, let's get to some of your messages, because there's loads coming in. Ian Dickey Davis says, Tomo, we want to see the slug back in place.
Slug.
And they're also asking our partners, Boyle Sports, for what's the SP for the prediction of Tomo's Tash coming back. Kevin Turner wants Tash back for Tomo to be trending. Thomas Ludvigsson is a big fan of Leander Dendoncker. He says he's the best. Howling Wolf, Tomo, get that moustache back. Another one, come on, Tomo, Tash back for Chorley. By the way, it's -2 degrees in Aberdeenshire. Charlotte says, would love to see the Tash back, Tomo, with a picture of Tom Selleck, a.k.a. Magnum P.I. Rob Knight, Tomo Tash, like Ali Robertson's on the Chorley programme will do.
Yeah.
Tash back, definitely. Christina, though, says, since I always side with Tomo, I'm saying no on the moustache, says Christina in Wisconsin.
Thank you, Christina.
Though John Bradley, another one, Tash back for Chorley. Come on, Tomo, do it for charity. You'll make a fortune, says John. Richard Wilding, Tomo's Tosh sounds good. Listening to us in South Africa. What about for charity? If we raise money for charity, would you grow it back for Chorley?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go then.
Okay, we've got to try and decide. I mean, you couldn't say no to that, could you? Really?
No, not really. No.
We need to try and decide like how much money is the level that you need. Pedro Neto's still getting treatment, by the way. You're not missing anything at the moment.
Yeah, that's all right. I didn't want to distract you or nothing.
50 quid?
Eh?
50 quid for charity.
Off you.
I'm trying to get like a really low level.
I know you are.
Tash back for Chorley. How amazing would it be? 1 day only. You've done it in the first lockdown. I've got a photo you sent me to prove it. Use the hashtag Wolves Live.
Not as dark as what it was back in the day. No, it wasn't as dark as them.
It was a bit more of a Lemmy one as well.
Yeah.
It was much longer. Right, Neto is up and he's hobbling towards the side of the pitch, but I think the message is going to come back that he is going to be okay.
As I said, he's running at speed, and just when you just get clipped, you can cause quite a bit of damage and pain by the look of him as well.
Jean Martinho stood over the free kick. It's a fair old distance. It's a good 30 yards out. Doesn't look like he's going to go for goal. 3-man wall. Wolves have got Saiss, Dendoncker, Fabio Silva and Gibbs White all waiting to rush into the penalty area. Martinho lifting it in towards Dendoncker, who got his head to it. I think it came off the top of his head and looped over.
I was going to say, I don't know if he's ended up heading just trying to see who the player was with him. Is it Keane, is it? I think he's ended up heading his head. Or clash of heads. Yeah. Clash of heads with Keane, isn't it? As he's tried to flip the ball. He's just got underneath it.
Yerry Mina back in field. Neto is back on the field. 54.5 minutes played at Molineux tonight. Wolves 1, Everton 1.
Yeah, he's hobbling though, isn't he? Still Neto. No, that's not good.
Ball forwards for Everton towards Lucas Dean. Ball came off Semedo. Will be an Everton throw. Theo Corbeanu for Tinia amongst the substitutes out warming up. In the meantime, here comes Godfrey down the Everton left, up towards the edge of the penalty area. Neves got a cross in front of him, and Semedo will draw a free kick.
Yeah. I'll just go back to that as well. I thought Neves did really well as well. Tracking back, helping out his defenders. I'm just watching Neto. He's still hobbling a bit.
Yeah, he was just caught, wasn't he?
Yeah.
It was an awkward one. Swiping across his right leg.
Let's just hope he can run it off and he eases up a little bit. It was an impact injury anyway, so you're hoping that he can run it off.
It's Gibbs White on halfway into Neto. Back to Gibbs White. It was a little bit too forceful at him. Semedo found Neto. Sliding challenge comes in from James Rodriguez. Neto with a foot in. He just caught James Rodriguez, I think, with a knee to his head.
Yeah, he just fell on him.
He was down on the floor.
I don't think there was anything in it. He just basically fell on him.
James Rodriguez, by the way, as they were going off at half-time, was collecting Wolves players' shirts.
I saw that.
Fabio Silva's and João Martinho's.
Bit premature, that one, wasn't it?
There's Yerry Mina. That's the right-hand side.
I thought he was taking himself off or subbing himself if he's coming out for the second half.
Maybe he's got an eBay account. There's Davis. Maybe he's trying to raise money for Tashback for Chorley.
Oh, there you go then.
Rich Frampton's offered 20 quid from him. Here's Michael Keane. Tomo's going to kill me after this game. Here's Mina. Sigurdsson, interception by Aït-Nouri. Cody, back to Patricio. To Saiss, left-hand side of the penalty area. Wolves happy to try and play their way out from deep, but it needed Martini to get there ahead of Davis. Played. And now Aït-Nouri able to drive over the halfway line. Options to his left and right. The left was Fabio Silva, who cuts in. He tried a little reverse ball that was blocked off by the retreating Tom Davis. Gibbs White, though, making a nuisance of himself around Yerry Mina. Holgate's clearance. Saiss' cushioned header to Martinho on halfway. Forwards to Dendoncker. Back to João Martinho, just out of the centre circle. Again to Gibbs White. Helping it on its way wide to Semedo. Infield to Martinho. Wolves in good control at the minute. Here comes Neves. And he couldn't find Fabio Silva with the pass, and he'll go through to Pickford.
Yeah, it was looking promising, wasn't it? So, look, passing the ball well, moving Everton around. Just a bit unlucky with that pass from Neves. Tried to just squeeze it in to Silva.
There's Yerry Mina, midway inside the Everton half. To central defensive teammate Michael Keane. That's the left-hand side to Godfrey. Back in field to James Rodriguez on halfway, just the left of the centre circle. Found no route past Dendoncker, so went back to Keane. Mina to Holgate, back to Mina again. And he'll look to try and switch it out to Lucas Dean. Infield to James Rodriguez, midway inside the Wolves half, just to the left of centre. He'll try and switch it back out to the Everton right to Iwobi. Holgate's gone racing up on the underlap and ball towards him, but Fabio Silva tracks him all the way.
Oh, well done.
And it will be a Wolves
Well
goal
played.
kick.
Well played by Silva. He's just run 30 yards with him to track him and got us a goal kick. And that's what you want to see from your players. You see it from Jimenez all the time, don't we? Tracking back. If anything, we want him to be more advanced. But sometimes you've got to do that for your team. And it's good that he's willing to do it.
Jonty says Aït-Nouri has been playing fantastic for weeks. He's certainly been impressive tonight. There's Fabio Silva turning and looking to bring it forwards. Foul by Tom Davis. Wolves free kick. A couple of yards inside their own half. A couple of people calling for the introduction of Catrone in this second half.
Well, he's warming up, isn't he, at the minute?
It's Ruben Neves. 59 and a half minutes played. Wolves 1, Everton 1 here at Molineux tonight. Pedro Neto back to Neves, just to the right of the centre circle, towards the feet of Gibbs White. It was under pressure from Iwobi. There was too much pressure for him, though Neves will step in and win it back. And here comes Gibbs White, looking to cut back in field. Again, the pass was a little bit short to Matinho, and Decore stepped back in. And Wolves might be considering a change shortly. In the meantime, Lucas Dean forwards. Decore down the Everton left. Semedo tracking him. Wide right to the touchline. Chalk on his boots for Lucas Dean. Dendoncker trying to get a foot in. What a battle that is between he and Decore. Decore all the way back to Keane in the centre circle. That's the right-hand side this time for Everton. James Rodriguez looking back in field on his left foot. There's a 1-2 with Davis. Matinho with him for company and forced a loose pass that Neves intercepted. Back to Cody, and now it's Wolves' turn to try and prize Everton out of their shape. Fabio Silva, Aït-Nouri has lost it to Iwobi. Nuno furious. Here come Everton again. Iwobi down the right side, Saiz sliding in. James Rodriguez will let it go out of play for an Everton throw.
Well, Hoover's coming on, isn't he, by the look of it? Making a change.
Changing shape, maybe?
Yeah, I think they might do. I don't know if Neto's still struggling a little bit.
In the meantime, it's Keane to switch the play out to the right-hand side. Now here's James Rodriguez again, being shown infield by Fabio Silva. Decore, wide out to Iwobi, to Holgate, 40 yards from the Wolves' goal. Holgate trying to cross from deep. Oh, and it was helped on its way by Connor Cody. Flashed through the penalty area and all the way for a throw by the left-hand corner flag.
Well, I think he had to deal with it because Sigurdsson had made a run across there. I don't think he's as close as where Connor Cody thought he was, but he had to deal with it.
There's Decore, midway inside the Wolves' half. To Mina, just the right of the centre circle, out to Holgate. Everton are preparing a change as well. Andre Gomez getting stripped and ready. 62 minutes played. Wolves 1, Everton 1. Mina to Holgate, just over halfway for Everton. Back infield to Mina. Matinho put the pressure on. It went backwards to Keane. Decore under pressure from Dendoncker. Back to Pickford on the edge of the box. He's short to Mina. Tom Davis, base of the centre circle, to his left to Decore. Further out wide to Godfrey, low over halfway to Dean. Back to James Rodriguez, who will try and switch the play with a raking 40-yard ball that Aït-Nouri got his head to. Fabio Silva finding Neves. Back to Cody. It's almost like both sides now settled into a rhythm and are just trying to see if there's going to be a mistake, if they can try and craft an opening. Gibbs White, good ball out to the feet of Neto on the right-hand side. Semedo's gone running past him. Neto cutting in field on his left foot. He's got support from Neves, who will set himself and cross it from deep, but the cross is too deep. And Pickford will let it go behind for a goal kick, and substitutions will now have an opportunity to be made.
Yeah, so Everton won, I think, is first. Gibbs White coming off.
So Gibbs White being replaced by Kiana Hoover. And Andre Gomez coming on for Tom Davis, which is more of a like-for-like change. Thoughts on Morgan Gibbs White?
Yeah, he's doing okay. He's doing okay in there. I think that he's the first half. I thought that he linked up pretty well with the lads up front. Struggled a little bit in this second half to get into it. Is that down to match fitness? I don't know. But he just struggled to get into the game a little bit in this second half.
Yeah, still working his way back to full fitness, I assume, as well. As you mentioned, he had a bit of an injury at Swansea. Pace of the game as well.
Yeah, and I said it's difficult to come in. So after you've been out for so long, I think he was a used sub, wasn't he, on the game when he come back from Swansea? So he was out for a bit. So he's going to have to find his legs.
A slow cross turned away by Saiz, but at the expense of a corner. Interestingly, Hoover's just kind of playing right midfield at the minute. It'll be interesting to see how they continue on, but it definitely looked like they were staying as a back four.
Well, Neto seems to have pushed across to that left-hand side as well, because he was out on this right-hand side.
Much more of a 4-5-1 than anything else. In the meantime, James Rodriguez with the corner, left-footed from the right-hand side, playing it short to Iwobi. Back to James, who tries to hang it high to the far post. Dendoncker is there to head the ball away. Gylfi Sigurdsson crossing low from the left-hand side. And Hoover's clearance. Fabio Silva to Dendoncker to try and carry it forward. Luca Dean putting it back downfield, and it'll go behind for a goal kick.
Yeah, so good defending from Dendoncker then at the back post. The only thing he could do was flick it away. Yeah, so Hoover's on this right-hand side. You've got Silva through the middle, and Neto gone out to that left-hand side. So Neto swapped sides.
Cody for Semedo, deep inside the Wolves half, under pressure from Lucas Dean, who got it from him, but then bounced away from him and out of play for a Wolves throw. A little bit of a let-off as we go past 65 minutes, close to 66 now.
Yeah, because to be fair to Everton, they've tried to press Wolves any opportunity they get.
Dendoncker on the turn. Andre Gomez just got something on him. Infield to Iwobi. Now James Rodriguez switching it for Holgate on the right-hand side. Midway inside the Wolves half. Crossing again from deep. Saiz with a header on the edge of the box. Dendoncker with a second header away. Fabio Silva trying to turn. Was he caught by Andre Gomez? Referee says yes. Everton, as you can imagine, was saying no.
Yeah, he's basically just turned into him, really, isn't he? He's done that a couple of times and got free kicks from it. So at least the referee's consistent on it.
Martinho for Semedo. To the right-hand side to Kiana Hoover. Trying to cut back in field. Here's Neves, across the centre circle for Martinho. Trying to carry it forwards. That's the touchline to Aït-Nouri. Saiz for Neves in the centre circle. Wide to the right-hand side to Semedo. Down the line for Hoover. Dendoncker coming short. Goes infield to Neves. Closed down by Andre Gomez. Back to Cody. Across the centre circle again for Martinho. Wolves turn to be patient. Neves out to the right-hand side to Hoover. He's got Semedo up in support. Hoover carrying on, trying to flick it on for the run of Semedo. Right-hand side of the penalty area. Dean tracked him all the way. It will be a Wolves corner, though.
Yeah, so again, I like Hoover. Since he's come on, I said, like in the games that I've seen him, he seems to be positive. He wants to run forward. He's confident in his own ability as well, which is good.
Fabio Silva, Dendoncker, Saiz and Ruben Neves in the penalty area. Neves has gone right in front of Jordan Pickford. As Neto whips it in left-footed, hanging high to the far post. It was headed away by Mina. Aït-Nouri trying to put it back in. Oh, and it nearly deflected through to Saiz, and Neves were waiting for it. Unfortunately, there was an Everton player there first.
It was. It could have gone absolutely anywhere. It's the fortunate Everton that it just fell to one of their players.
Oh, what a calm pass by Neves with players closing in, and Moutinho outside of his right boot down the right-hand side for Neto. Neto cutting back infield on his left foot, just outside the corner of the box, attempting a switch pass to Aït-Nouri, intercepted by Iwobi. Sai's heading it down. Neves, Holgate came sliding through, and he's going to get himself a yellow card.
Yeah, so Neves did really well there. Basically invited the challenge to come in.
Ruben Neves committed himself for it.
Yeah, he knew what was coming. I think Neves, he saw him sliding in. So once he's gone to the ground, Holgate, so like Neves was in a winning position to get the free kick there.
Holgate joins Decore in Martin Atkinson's notebook. Just over 20 minutes to go. Dendoncker, Hoover, Fabio Silva and Sai's are the four in the box. Neto and Moutinho stood over the ball. It'll be Jean Moutinho to just touch it for Pedro Neto. Out to the left-hand side to Aït-Nouri. Aït-Nouri infield to Moutinho. Backwards to Neves, who flicks it up and hits it on the volley. Oh, and it was dipping. Oh, we've seen that before, haven't we?
Yeah, at that end as well, against Derby.
Oh, Ruben Neves teed it up for himself, and with shades of Espanyol and Derby, fired it goalwards, and it wasn't far off.
Well, he had Pickford diving for it, wasn't he? It's a great strike from him. Great first touch. Just watching the replay again. Not too far away.
He's a true magician when he wants to be. When he's in that kind of mood, he can do things that other players can barely even dream of.
Yeah, but he just makes it look so easy, though. That's the thing about it. And that's a difficult skill, what he did, especially that first touch. Just to set himself up.
I think Patrick Catrone will be fairly imminent. Yerry Mina has the ball for Everton. Falls to James Rodriguez. Now trying to switch the play. Semedo heading it away from the edge of the box down to Hoover, who turns, and Semedo's gone racing past him. Hoover trying to put it into the path of Semedo, who checks back infield up against Godfrey and waits for Hoover to run past him, and then cuts infield himself. Now back onto his right foot and wide to Kiana Hoover, who tries to lift it into the danger zone. Pickford can come out and claim it, though.
Yeah, so it was always going to be easy for the goalkeeper. They just hung it up, never really put that much curl on it. You could see what he's trying to pick out, one of the Wolves lads in the box. But just couldn't get his foot around it with the accuracy that he needed.
71 minutes played. Wolves 1, Everton 1. It's been that way since the 14th minute of the game. It's been a really entertaining matchup. And here's Fabio Silva on halfway. Couldn't quite hold it off from Abdoulaye Doucouré. Andre Gomez, right inside of the centre circle. Out to Iwobi on the right-hand touchline. Leaves it for James Rodriguez. James gets it back from Andre Gomez. Foot in by Fabio Silva. Then he sent it back to Keane in the centre circle. Switched out to Iwobi. He's got a lot of space out on that right-hand side for Everton. He's cutting back infield up towards the corner of the box into the area. Lifts his cross to the far post. Semedo had time to volley it away. Doucouré's headed down. Dendoncker first to loose ball. Did well to find Hoover. And then he's carried on his run here. And he tries to release Fabio Silva, who dug deep, but didn't have the energy really to get there ahead of Godfrey.
Godfrey had the legs on. Great spot from him, though. Dendoncker did really well.
Iwobi infield to James Rodriguez. Another change coming from Everton. And it's Richarlison, who I think has scored 4 in 4 against Wolves in the last couple of years. In the meantime, Hoover, former Liverpool man, finding Neves, driving deep into the Everton half. Out to Neto on the left-hand side. Back infield to Jean Moutinho. Moutinho looking up for an option, trying to switch the play. What a good pass out to Kiana Hoover. Back to Semedo. Again down the line for Hoover. Dendoncker is over there with them. Hoover being forced backwards. Infield to Semedo. Now to Neto, drifting over to this inside right. Just on the edge of the penalty area, twisting back onto his right foot. Neto back onto his left again, outside the area, trying to leave it for Semedo. It'll come to Hoover, who whips a cross in, headed away by Keane. Martinho trying to head it back into the box. Holgate heading away, and Wolves have committed men forwards. James Rodriguez on the turn, trying to get Iwobi racing up down the Everton right. Aït-Nouri tracking back with him. Midway inside the Wolves half, lifted infield to James Rodriguez. Controls on the chest. Looks back out to the right-hand side to Iwobi. Again up against Aït-Nouri. Back to Rodriguez. Infield to Andre Gomez. Under pressure from Fabio Silva. Godfrey to Decore. Sigurdsson. Back to Decore. Trying to switch it out to that Everton right to James once more. Andre Gomez. James Rodriguez being forced backwards a little bit. Decore. Across to Godfrey. That's the left-hand side to Dean. Under pressure from Semedo. Back into their own half. Go Everton. Godfrey to Keane again. 74 minutes played. Wolves 1, Everton 1. And both sides waiting to make an attacking substitution. Iwobi infield. Neves trying to get there. It'll come to Andre Gomez. Middle of the Wolves half. Leaves it to his left-hand side to Decore. Now to Godfrey. Forced to Gylfi Sigurdsson. Out to the left-hand side to Lucas Dean. Back to Decore again. Everton have had plenty of these spells in the second half.
They have, and Wolves have been disciplined with their marking and tracking and everything else, and they're going to have to be, because sadly you can see Everton just probing, just trying to get something.
Now they've got themselves into the penalty area. Rodriguez back to Iwobi, and Wolves got the numbers across. Goes behind for a corner.
I think it was Connor Cody.
Excellent bit of defending.
Yeah, it was. I'm just watching the replay again. Just got
It was
away.
the run on by James Rodriguez, wasn't it? And Iwobi closing in.
Good
and
block from Cody.
Connor Cody.
Yeah, great
his
block.
body on the line. Gylfi Sigurdsson is the man going off for Everton. Richarlison coming on. So it's not Andre Gomez. He's already on the pitch. It is Richarlison.
Apologies. Replacing number 10 Richarlison.
Well, there you go.
There you go. He must have heard you, mate. Must have heard you. Direct line to you.
Scored twice for Richarlison in Wolves' first game back in the Premier League under Nuno, way back in August of 2018. He also scored twice in Everton's 3-2 win at Goodison in September of 2019. So he's on. In comes the corner, left-footed from the right-hand side, headed away by Dendoncker. Andre Gomez on the left-hand side, trying to put it back into the danger zone. Up go the heads, Keane's header, and it's in. Wolves didn't deal with that second ball back into the danger zone. It was an inviting cross to the far post, and it just needed a sweet connection. And it's Wolves 1, Everton 2, with less than a quarter of an hour to play.
Yes, again, it's a set play. I know it's not come direct off the corner, but we haven't come out, haven't closed him down, we haven't put enough pressure on him, allowed him to get the ball in. Yes, we've got to try and put the pressure on him for the delivery. Yeah, it's a good header from Keane. You can't allow them to keep putting the ball into the box. They've got a couple of big lads, Keane and Mina, and Keane made sure it was his.
Got himself in between Saiss and Aït-Nouri.
Yeah, you got to stop the cross from me. Can't afford to allow him to put that back in there.
It's Fabio Silva who's coming off, and Patrick Catrone coming on. And Wolves, for the second time in the game, have to try and find an equaliser. They responded really well to going behind in the first half. And we see a similar response now.
Well, we're going to need one. We're going to need a response. Because they've got themselves behind. So they've threatened it a few times in this second half. But again, so Everton had a little bit of play there, quite a long spell of possession. Going to have to try and get themselves back into it now.
To Neto for Catrone, playing it backwards, but it's going to go out of play for an Everton throw midway inside their own half. 12 minutes remain. Well, Wolves responding. Maybe go with a bit more of an attacking serve, having brought Hoover on for Gibbs White in that second half. Now find themselves needing to gamble a little bit more. Here's Martinho. Falls to Catrone. Holding off the challenge of Andre Gomez. Found Dendoncker. Now Neves. Just switch the play out to the right-hand side. It's a good ball to find Kiana Hoover. Low one blocked by Godfrey. Wolves throw.
Yeah, we're looking there for another positive reaction from them. We need to make sure that we try and get ourselves back into it.
Do have Theo Corbeanu and Meriton Shabani, forwards from the under-23s who could come on if needed. Vitinha as well might be an option. In the meantime, Martinho to Neves. Back in field to Jean Martinho. Midway inside the Everton half. Closed down by Andre Gomez. Took too long to play that pass. And Gomez got a touch two in. And Iwobi trying to drive forwards. Putting real pressure on Aït-Nouri here. As he continues to run on down the Everton right. Low one into the danger zone. Comfortable. Low take by Patricio. Who rolls it out quickly to Cody. Who finds Semedo.
Yeah, we're going to have to start taking it to a little bit more, have a bit more of a risk and a gamble, try and get ourselves back into the game.
Martinho for Neto. Being forced infield by James Rodriguez. To Neves in the centre circle. Now to Cody. No real option in front of him. Everton able to sit a little deeper now. Here's Martinho. Oh, it was just behind Patrick Catrone. We've made a really clever run there.
I thought Hoover was going to go into that little bit of space. I thought he was going to sprint into it because, say, if he did, it was a good ball. You could see what he was trying to do, just to slot one of the players in.
Mina for Decore. Back to Michael Keane. And to knock it up to halfway. Aït-Nouri's header forwards. Martinho collecting. Ruben Neves. Again, sweeping a lovely low ball out to Kiana Hoover, who whips into the danger zone. Dendoncker was forwards, but Keane got across to the near post to clear it out of play for a throw.
Yeah, going to have to take a little bit more of a gamble now. Put bodies up there. Try and get themselves on level terms, at least.
Here's Martinho. Aït-Nouri. Infield to Neto. Down the left-hand side, trying to cross it in. Only Dendoncker in the box. Again, it's Keane who heads it away out towards the right-hand corner flag for Everton. Holgate trying to chip it down the line for James Rodriguez. Managed to keep it in. Iwobi forwards. Saiz there ahead of Richarlison. Just sent it up towards the edge of the box. Catrone trying to hold it up on the edge of the area. Dendoncker. Now Neves. Thought about lining up a shot. In the end was closed down by Andre Gomez. Semedo. And Andre Gomez showing real strength to get in front of him. And Semedo winning it back. Here's Neves. Neto, left-hand side of the penalty area. Can he find room to get his strike away? He does. And I think it hit Catrone. And it came off an Everton man in the end. And it will be a Wolves corner.
Yeah, it's got a little bit of pressure here. So that's starting to put a little bit more pressure on Everton's defence.
Vitinha is the man stripped and ready to come on as Wolves' third and final change. In the meantime, though, it's Martinho with the corner, right-footed from the left-hand side. Can he pick out one of the 4 gold shirts in the penalty area? Whipped in towards the near post, headed away by Richarlison. Aït-Nouri, back to the centre circle to Cody. Back to the feet of Aït-Nouri. Allowed to carry the ball forwards, trying to cross from deep, and again, the cross is too deep. Semedo, though, he's just about... couldn't quite keep it in. He sprinted all that he had to try and get there. And he was so unfortunate not to be able to keep it in.
Yeah, he was. So look, and I think that's what he's going to need. Just watching the goal again here on the replay.
Attacking the ball,
yeah.
Michael Keane.
Yeah, but I think Dendonker's got to close him down a bit quicker and stop the crossing as well. Like I say, they've got to defend the cross, but...
Andre Gomez forwards, Neves back to Cody. Now for Saiz. Interesting to see who goes off here for Vitinha. As Cody tries to lift it forwards. Decore's clearance only found Neves. Now Martinho. That's the left-hand side to Aït-Nouri. Further out to the touchline, midway inside the Everton half to Neto. 7 minutes remain at Molineux as Wolves are searching for an equaliser. Wide against the left-hand side to Aït-Nouri, cutting back in field, heading towards the corner of the box. Back to Neves for Moutinho. Now switching it for Semedo. 25 yards from goal, out to the right-hand side to Hoover. Hoover up against Lucas Dean, shown in field. Kiana Hoover trying to tee it up for Moutinho, who attempted to flick it through, and it hit the arm of Abdoulaye Doucouré.
Well, it's a good opportunity here now. Central position.
Well, this is very much Ruben Neves
just
range.
Outside the D. Just watching the replay again. Yeah, oh yeah, he's hit with his hand, hasn't he? He's saying that it's not hit him on the arm, it's hit him on his hand.
Well, memories flashing back to Ruben Neves at the other end in front of the North Bank, curling one into the top corner against Everton on that first game back in the Premier League. Having already scored once and scored from the spot against Brighton in the first game of 2021. This is just outside the D, pretty much slack bang centre, maybe ever so slightly to the left. Pickford will line up his wall to protect his right-hand post, the left-hand post as Neves looks towards the south bank. Just about 5.5 minutes to go. It feels like a key moment in the game.
Yeah, well, was it?
Everton have got a man lying down behind the wall. Try and block a low one. Neto and Neves stood over it. Here comes Ruben Neves. Couple of short steps. Carl's it. Oh, it's so close.
Oh, I think that's at the post.
Unbelievable hit by Neves.
Oh,
he can't quite believe it. The gap was there for him. He went for it, and it does just clips the crossbar as it goes through. Right at the corner where the crossbar meets the post. João Moutinho going off for Vitinha to come on. My. That was close to producing something special. James Rodriguez going off. Defender in Seamus Coleman coming on. Everton trying to protect what they have for the final 4.5 minutes, plus time to be added on. Wolves 1, Everton 2. And they just came within a whisker of getting back on level terms.
well, I thought that was in. And so you can see on the replay how close he actually was. Basically, it was just the corner, wasn't it? Just hit the corner of the crossbar and the post.
It was Pickford's side, but he wouldn't have saved it.
No, I think that if he was a little bit lower, he wasn't getting it.
Pickford's goal kick, straight out of play for a Wolves throw, just about on halfway. So Dendoncker will drop back in alongside Neves, and Vitinha, I think, is going to go as more of an out-and-out number 10. As Wolves try and find an equaliser, but Semedo having to go all the way back to Patricio. Now for Saiss on the Wolves' left, carrying the ball up towards halfway. Infield to Neto, back to Neves, switched across to Cody. Can they craft a chance for Cutrone? There's Vitinha. Hoover on the right-hand side. Back into the centre circle to Saiss. Out to Aït-Nouri on the left. Closed down by Coleman. Comes back to Neves. Swept across the centre circle for Cody. 3 minutes remain at Molineux. Semedo in possession. Wide to Hoover. 35 yards from goal. Being forced backwards, though, by Godfrey. Cody on halfway. Out to Dendoncker on the right-hand side. Infield to Neves. Back to Dendoncker. Into the centre circle to Saiss. A little short one to Vitinha just ahead of the centre circle. Back to Saiss again. Back to Vitinha. Turning. Allowed to dribble. Trying to scoop it towards Dendoncker. Vitinha trying to help it onto the edge of the box. Everton just about scramble it away. Hoover challenging. Ball drops to Neves.
It's a good little bit of pressure here. Just got to try and get something a little bit further up, though.
Kiana Hoover on the right-hand touchline. Looking to try and cut back in field. Now Semedo. Dendoncker is out there with them. It goes in field to Vitinha. Wide again to Hoover. Back to Semedo. Oh, that was loose by Kiana Hoover, and Semedo having to foul Richarlison as Everton were threatening to break away, and he'll take the yellow card. And again, after all that pressure was building.
Yeah, just couldn't get that breakthrough, could they? Just couldn't get beyond that. It was about 10 yards outside the penalty area, or the Everton's penalty area. Just needed to get behind them somehow.
I just wonder on the element we were talking about pre-game about having so many youngsters in the team, and that's an element of a youngster who hasn't been in these situations too many times and just played a sloppy pass at the exact moment when they desperately needed them to be accurate.
Yeah.
Big long kick downfield. Semedo and Dean challenging. Across comes Cody. It's going to be an Everton throw, though, about 10 yards from the corner flag. And Wolves have 60 seconds plus time to be added on and try and rescue a point. Richarlison to hold it up in the corner flag. The cross in, blocked off by Cody, brought it down on the chest and cleared it high. Keane winning it, heading it back towards the edge of the area. Lucas Dean. 1-2 with Richarlison, heading down the left. Crosses it, flicks off Semedo, Everton corner. And Wolves are where they do not want to be.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. They don't want to be up this part of the field.
Fourth official readying the board. How much time is going to be added on? 20 seconds left of the 90, and Everton will eat up most of them. I'm taking this corner that Dean may well just play it short to Andre Gomez. Does, just touches it to him. Gomez trying to hold off the challenge of Pedro Neto. Right by the corner. Vitinha going in there. Andre Gomez running through. 5 minutes to be added on.
5 minutes.
5 minutes. What can Wolves produce? So many games have seen late drama this season. There's Dean's cross from deep. Coleman trying to stop it going behind. He won't be able to. It is a goal kick. Well, they left it late to win it against Chelsea. And scored late goals away at Burnley too. They nearly stole all three at Brighton with the last kick of the game. So Wolves have got it within them to keep going to the final second.
Well, we're going to have to do that today. We're going to have to try and get themselves back into it.
Neto on the Wolves' right, left-footed cross, hanging high to the far post. Mina's header away. Ait Nouri midway inside the half. Back to Saiz on the edge of the centre circle. Leaves it for Vitinha. Vitinha dropping a shoulder and now finding Neto. Neto. Oh, again, it's loose. Trying to find Semedo and overhit the pass and out of play for an Everton throw. And once again, having got themselves into a good area of the field, they then are just that little bit sloppy.
And as touched on there a little bit, it might be inexperience.
Making the right decision when it matters most. Neves. Oh, this ball's going to come to Dendoncker in the Wolves half. A little fortunate. Lob his foot in, sent it backwards. Ait Nouri. Back to Saiz. Still 3 minutes left to play. Cody for Vitinha. And shown in field by Richarlison, midway inside the Everton half. Switches it out to the feet of Ait Nouri. Down the line for Neto. Holgate with him. Neto trying to find room to cross. Deflects off the Everton defender. Wolves corner.
Yeah, it's the Wolves corner. So it's going to count.
Cody was looking across towards Nuno for permission to go forwards, and Nuno was looking towards his bench and didn't see it.
Yeah.
He's trying to send more in there, though, as Neto, left-footed, delivers in. Oh, headed goalwards by Dendoncker and wide, a long way wide. Under pressure. Hoover was going in there as well, and he may have come off worse for wear there. Yerry Mina using all his experience to challenge for it.
Yeah.
It's Dendoncker, it comes off.
It's basically hit him rather than him directing it, wasn't it? It's come over a couple of people, and he's ducking down already, isn't he? Dendoncker.
2 minutes left to play. Jordan Pickford to kick downfield. Hoover to challenge. Luca Dean won it in the air though. Andre Gomez turning away from Neves, but passing it straight to Semedo. Semedo, fouled by Andre Gomez. And Richarlison kicking the ball away.
Well, just pile everybody up front, just put it up there now. I know they've got the two big centre halves, but you're going to have to try and get that second ball.
Yeah, Saiz and Dendoncker are the targets. Catrone, Neto amongst those waiting for any kind of knockdown. Goes towards Dendoncker, one in the air by Mina. Oh, and a poor touch by Aït-Nouri. And Richarlison is one-on-one with Connor Cody. Richarlison up towards the edge of the box, and Semedo did enough to get a touch on the ball. And then Richarlison pulling back Aït-Nouri, and Wolves have rather got away with it there.
Well, they have got away with it. Is that because he's missed a few games for Coulson? So maybe done us a favour there a little bit.
Into the final minute of the 5 minutes being added on. Vitinha sending it down the right-hand side. Neto digging deep to get there. Couple of yards from the corner flag. Got to get this into the danger zone. Here he is, and it was headed away at the penalty spot. And Richarlison is first to the loose ball. Hoover challenging. That's going to be an Everton free kick. And again, you talk about the levels of experience too. In that moment there, you knew Richarlison wanted to get the free kick. It's a foul. And Hoover's going to get himself a yellow card for his reaction more than anything else. It's almost that case of don't challenge. He's going nowhere.
Like you said, inexperience. So you just get that red mist, don't you? Though you say you want to win this at all costs, but you don't realise that you're going to give away a free kick or stop the game and give the momentum back to the other team, as it was then. And it just gives them time just to stop and start it again. This will go into the corner.
Launched downfield towards Richarlison. Cody's header. Offside flag. Up against Richarlison.
Just get Patricio on it. Push everybody up front for me.
We're in added time of added time.
Yeah, last throw of the dice now.
They won't get time. Final whistle goes. Wolves beaten here by Everton. They were behind early on to Alex Iwobi's 6 minute strike when he arrived into the penalty area and helped it into the bottom corner. Ruben Neves turned home from Aït-Nouri's cross from the left-hand side after only about a quarter of an hour of the game gone. It was entertaining and pretty even for the most part. Wolves had some good opportunities, certainly in the first half. A lot of the ball in the second, but they weren't able to really craft that key chance until Michael Keane headed Everton back in front after 77 minutes. A cross in from the left-hand side. Second opportunity from a corner, and Keane arrived at the far post to head home. Ruben Neves hit the corner of the crossbar and the upright from a free kick from just outside the area. It feels harsh, but Wolves are beaten by 2-1.
Yeah, so they'll feel like it's been harshly done by. But again, so you've got to try and stop the cross. You've got to defend the cross coming in. And I know it wasn't off a corner, but so like we look at people that are missing in our side that would be in there, would be challenging and make it difficult for teams to score. And unfortunately, you got Keane there who was able just to put the ball into the net with a good header beyond Patricio. Look, so they've done okay. They recovered really well from that first half. They got themselves back into it, got themselves on level terms. So I think that'll be a hard one to take from Wolves' team.
Yeah, Wolves dominated possession, only just though 52-48. But in terms of efforts on goal, 13 to Everton's 5. 13 efforts to Everton's 5. Wolves had 6 to Everton's 2 in the second half, but none were on target. Everton only needed the 1 to be on target in that second period, and it turned out to be the winner for Michael Keane. We'll get you some reaction from Andy Thompson, from Carl Ikeme, and from Chris Iwelumo in just a couple of minutes. Don't go anywhere. This is Matchday Live Extra.
Matchday Live on Wolves TV. Listen for free online at wolves.co.uk or on the move anywhere in the world via the Wolves app.
The Old Goal Club has a new series, My Golden Game. Speaking to former and current players, coaches, managers and fans of the matches that meant the most to them.
It's a club who I have in my heart, and I always keep following it.
I'd been back to Molineux on a few occasions, and I never got a good reception, and that hurt me a little bit. Not that I thought I deserved better, but maybe because of those two games against West Brom, where I scored 4 goals in 2 appearances.
Check out the series so far, featuring the likes of Julian Lescott, Kevin Doyle, Neil Emblem and Dennis Irwin.
I was absolutely delighted when they came in from England, and even more so when, after having a tough first 4 or 5 months, that we were on a bit of a roll and ended up playing in this fantastic game.
Old Goal Club, My Golden Game, available now.
Wolverhampton Wanderers is a club with a bright future, but also a shining past. See the history of the club we love, from humble beginnings to the present day, in the Wolves Museum, featuring unique artefacts from our illustrious past and interactive exhibits for kids big and small. The Wolves Museum, open Fridays, Saturdays and Sundays from 10 a.m. Book online at wolves.co.uk or visit the ticket office.
Matchday Live on Wolves TV. Listen for free online at wolves.co.uk or on the move anywhere in the world via the Wolves app.
Well, not for the first time this season. It feels like football can be a cruel game. At times, Carl Ikeme and Iwelumo with us here on Matchday Live Extra. I know there's a key point that you boys want to get to, and we'll get to that in just a second, but thoughts on the game overall, Iwelumo, because it felt like Wolves didn't deserve to lose that.
Yeah, I have to say that the second half, I don't think we were as dominant. You know, I think Everton definitely looked a lot more dangerous in the second half. First half, it just shows you the small margins in the game. You really do have to take your chances in what is the best league in the world. Second half, we huffed and puffed. There was some little glimpses of quality, not really clear-cut chances, which was disappointing, you know. But again, the goal that we conceded, it was a fantastic ball in with Gomez, and I'm listening to your commentary as well. I understand what Tom was saying about stopping the cross from coming in, but Gomez doesn't really take much time. He just basically gets to the cross, doesn't allow anyone. It's a fantastic cross. Can you defend better? Keane's attacked that very, very well. You know, there's Saiss and there's Dendonka there. Again, it's a fantastic header. You're thinking, I don't know, it's one of them. As if you're Saiss in that position, maybe you should maybe attack the ball at its highest point. But it's came in at such an angle that it's just perfect, right on the money for Keane. And then to execute it the way he did, I think it's so hard for Rui Patricio to even do anything there. He's grounded. But second half, I think it warranted. If we all came away with a draw and a point, I think we would hold our hands up and say that's a fair result.
I mean, it's interesting though, Looms, because you know you talk, and you're right. It's the element of perceptions, because it felt like Everton had a bit more of the ball second half, whereas actually the stats show that Wolves had more possession second half than they did in the first half, and Everton only had that one effort on target, and then they had one shot that was blocked. It's perception, isn't it? But
yeah,
you're right,
but
because Wolves didn't have as many chances, or clear-cut opportunities, it felt a lot more even. Carl Ikeme, what did you make of it?
Yeah, I felt the same. I felt like I won't say we can control the game. I know possession would try and explain that story, but I suppose it gets to your point of we wasn't, and Looms' point really is that we didn't really feel like we created much. We didn't.
No shots on target, Keanes.
Yeah,
no shots on target second half.
We didn't even at times feel like we got in good positions in play, or we weren't in the positions where we felt we could really hurt Everton as well. It was possession without real intent second half, and I think that's what Looms is getting at, and that's what I feel as well. I feel like we did have possession, control of the game, but possession. Everton were comfortable. Let's be honest, with our possession. So possession only tells one part of the story, really. Let's be honest. So
we've talked, haven't we, before about there are kind of two ways to control a game: one with the ball and one without. And we talked, didn't we, when we went and won at Leeds, where we controlled the game without the ball. You could argue Everton probably did a really good job second half of doing that to us.
Yeah, but we didn't. At the same time, I don't think we deserved to lose the game as well. So I think we're in a tough moment at the minute. We're losing games that we deserve to draw, and we're sometimes drawing games we deserve to win as well. So it's difficult. I feel like the lads will be gutted because they'll feel the same. They'll feel like they didn't deserve that. But like Loom said, it was a great ball and it was a great header. I'm not saying there's always moments where you can say, "Can you do this? Can you do that?" But if you wanted anyone on the pitch against Keane, it would be Saïs, wouldn't it? And then Dunker there, and he just got a run on him. And it was a fantastic header. I think the issue I probably have is an issue that we've probably been talking about all month, is where the goals are going to come from. And I felt that's the only downside of when they did get into the lead, is that I'm kind of looking around and thinking, I hope Neto does something special, or maybe or Neves does something.
Neves, he wasn't far away, was he? He wasn't far away at all.
Yeah, I mean, we'll come to him in a second. It is worth pointing out, isn't it? I mean, we talk about goals. It's not just Raúl Jiménez that they're missing. There's no Daniel Podence, no Adama Traore tonight, and that means, again, when you look at the bench, there isn't necessarily there are more options because Cutrone and Gibbs White have come back. But it's still, when you add those guys in, when you add in Willy Bolly, that might make a difference in the defensive situations.
It's not match winner. For how good I think Morgan White, Gibbs White can be. They're not match winners like a Traore and Jimenez and a Podence. They're not their match winners. So I had the feeling, I'm not sure if the lad felt the same, is that I'm just kind of looking at Neto. I'm thinking, please do something. You sort of, instead of 3 or 4 players thinking, can they do something?
We're just waiting for him to do something. That's the thing that we're doing. So you're thinking, where else is going to come from apart from Neto? And that's the problem that we've got. They tried to nullify Neto, and then all of a sudden, so we've got nothing going forward. Because you saw Godfrey marking him pretty well. He swapped sides when we made the substitution. But unless he does something, which we know he can, we just don't look like scoring. So we had a lot of possessions we talked about, but we never really had possession or good possession further on in that top third. So look, it was okay in that central area, and Everton were happy for us to have the ball.
Okay, I want to move it on because Chris Iwelumo spotted something, and I know you want to bring this up. This is the challenge by Yerry Mina on Kiana Hoover, right?
Yeah, I don't understand why it's not looked at. So it's something that obviously Martin Atkinson's completely missed. So VAR has to intervene and have a look at it. The fact that Hoover's went to the floor holding his head, they have to look at it. So I'm looking at it. It's we obviously sat at home. We get shown 3 or 4 replays of it, and Yerry Mina just went with the forearm and completely took Hoover out. So anywhere else on the pitch, that's a free kick. So I have no idea why VAR haven't looked at it, because if they did look at it, which I thought they had to, it would be a penalty kick, 100% penalty kick. By the
Looms, I completely agree with you, and it's not. This isn't a sour grapes thing. I was looking. I looked at it, and just like everyone else, didn't think much of it at the time, and then they showed the replay, and I thought, that's an elbow.
Straight elbow.
That is a straight elbow.
Yeah.
And then I'm thinking, well, obviously VAR should be seeing this as well.
That's what I was thinking.
Pass it to the ref, and they didn't, and there wasn't really much made of it on the TV commentary as well, which was a bit strange. And I think the problem is I don't think the Wolves players would have seen it because it would have happened quite quickly. But that's what VAR is there for, and it's a blatant foul.
Yeah. Well, clearing off his mistakes by the referee, it's supposed to be there for, isn't it?
It's dangerous.
It's
dangerous. We've seen what head injuries can do, and I'm not saying he meant it, but it's just reckless, isn't it? A little bit reckless, and I'm surprised it wasn't pulled up to at least have a look. And I think if he has a look at it, I think he has to give it.
Yeah, he gives it. If VAR look at that and intervene, then it's a penalty kick. There's no doubt about it. And then Martin Atkinson will go to the screen. It's a penalty kick. I'm looking at it thinking it's blatant forearm elbow to Hoover's head before there's any contact. I don't even think he even makes contact with the ball anyway.
No, he doesn't, because it goes through and hits Dendoncker and goes behind. It might explain why Keanu Hoover was so angry at the referee that ended up talking himself into a yellow card, having given a free kick away in front of Nuno's technical area. I just wonder, boys, how much, because you'll have all been in situations like this where, apart from maybe Burnley, I look at the recent run and I kind of go, Wolves have actually played pretty well across some of these games, considering the players they've had out. And you look tonight, and we mentioned him a little bit, Ruben Neves had a brilliant game tonight. We talked at a length at half-time about Gibbs-White and the fullbacks. They weren't maybe quite a strong second half, but, I mean, talking about this potential penalty and things like that when you're in this kind of situation, you just don't quite get that rub of the green that you need sometimes.
It's again, we're talking about the small margins, isn't it? You look 3-1 up against Brighton. I guess that inexperience, maybe just to manage the game, see it out. Man United conceding in injury time. There has been some great performances, but that's the difference. If you switch off once, you're conceding a goal. And it's so. I guess we're always, me, forever the optimist. So I believe Nuno, he'll instill that confidence, and when they actually break it down and they analyse all these games, he'll say, you know what, we should have came away with a lot more, but we've got to be disappointed that we haven't. We've got to react to make sure that we don't allow these points to slip away again. Aston Villa, we battered them at home. We lost the game. We won a little bit of, Semedo taking them down in the box. But this is the Premier League, the best league in the world. I'll say it again, you have to be at it. We were at it at Old Trafford, switched off that one little bit, and you can't allow it to happen. So hopefully, like Keem said at half-time, the young squad, those inconsistencies in performances, that will get better. That will get better, and we'll learn. We're in a transitional period, 100%. There's some big players missing, but the young players coming through this now are good enough to do a job, as we've seen, maybe not result-wise, but performance-wise, definitely.
Final words from you, Carl Ikeme.
Yeah, I'll just echo what Loom said and what you said, Mikey, to be honest. I was looking at our games, and obviously I know that we're not in a rich game of form, rich game of form lately, but like you said, the Villa game, we didn't deserve to lose. United definitely didn't deserve to lose. Brighton probably deserved a point. If you're honest about it, might have been lucky to hold on at the end,
and yet should have maybe won it with.
But we were 3-1 up. But this is talking us. We were 3-1 up at half time. So are the performances reflected in the results? No, but do we expect more, and can we get more? Yeah, the inconsistency in performance, young players coming through. Yeah, we can take it, but I think. At the same time, I do expect us to win some of these games, and it's not that I'm having a pop at the lads. It's just that I feel that they're capable of winning them, even though that we're absent without these players. So it's difficult. It's a difficult one to take when you kind of break down the actual performances and the results we've had, because I don't feel like we've deserved all of that. But we've got a lot of players out, and I know it's not an excuse all the time. So because I'm saying on the same shoe that. We've got enough to win these games, but it's not helping us. I feel like where the players out is not helping us is when we go 2-1 behind or 1-0 behind 20 minutes ago. I felt last season, the season before, you sort of thinking, we'll have an opportunity here, where we're not quite having that opportunity. And I think that's where your squad comes into it, and then players come off the bench.
And just quickly, Tomo, a hell of a game on Saturday.
Oh, it is. Well, the derby games, we all love them. So I know it's going to be different without the fans there. But again, it's still a derby game. Can go either way. And look, I'm expecting a tough game again. Just got to get going. You can't feel sorry for yourselves. I'm sure they won't. Quality out there, what they've got, they'll go out there and perform. And I'll just think that it's another game, another chance of getting 3 points. And I expect us to go out there and put on a good performance again.
Let's be honest, that game just got a lot bigger now.
Yeah,
as well. It was big enough anyway, which I think is a good thing for us as fans as well. That the game's even got bigger is more important than the game, and West Brom are going to be looking to frustrate us as well.
Yeah.
Well, we will be with you for all the most possible biased build-up you can ever expect here on Matchday Live Extra Saturday morning.
I'll wear my Wolf shirt.
Make sure you're with us. In fact, yeah, because Chris Iwelumo was talking about digging one out from the loft earlier. I expect you to be wearing colours on Saturday lunchtime. Make sure you tune in for that. It wasn't quite to be tonight. It feels like a bit of a harsh defeat, but they are learning lessons, this group of young Wolves players, and hopefully there is more to come from them starting Saturday. We'll see you then. Make sure you tune in. Have a good week. Stay safe.